Right. So I guess I wouldn't be too concerned. You're not taking
Not a bite.
Really?
Not a bite.
You went to the Milwaukee River, right?
And there was people out. There was people out fishing. There was a guy in a fishing kayak.
Yeah.
You know, casting around the shore.
Yeah.
Saw people on like a little party raft.
Yeah.
A couple of other guys. One guy was out kind of cleaning out the motor on his boat when they brought it in. He poured some seafoam in and drove it up onto the trailer. But other people that we were talking to didn't seem to be out.
I think it's the cold weather. I mean, the water, I think temperatures have been going down.
And Peter was saying you gotta get a rain fall there for them to even be interested.
Yeah. Even the day you guys went to Milwaukee Lake, you didn't catch anything. Because I think the water was getting cold already. There was Diane and I rode our bikes out there. I think it was the day that you guys went fishing on the Milwaukee River. We took our bikes out to Long Lake. We rode down to Milwaukee on that trail. And we got to the bridge, that goes over the river, the outlet. And we're standing on the bridge there, and the same guy, and our coveralls, and we're walking out on the bridge real slow, and he goes, "No fish here today, no fish here today." He said, "Why do you keep track of this?" He says, "I come here a lot." He says, "Sometimes," he says, "I'll see bass this big, right from the bridge." Yeah, he's right over there, right next to the shore. Turns out, started talking to the guy. He liked to talk. Turns out that he used to own the gas station. So I moved down here from Milwaukee. I said, "Oh, I said, I'm from Milwaukee. I own the gas station on Sherman Boulevard, Carolina." And I said, "You know what's going on here now?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I used to own that gas station." He says he lives just a mile or so from Milwaukee Lake. His wife was waiting for him in the car, and she couldn't get around very well anymore. She's going downhill. He said, "I don't think we're going to Florida this winter."
Breaded mushrooms. Who knew? I didn't know. I didn't. We were here across the way in that other room. And they did their film. They all think it's like a 7-day film. 20 people did it. Showed the festival.
What were they filming?
They give you a topic, and then you've got like 48 hours or 24 hours to make a 7-minute film. Somewhere.
Oh, so a lot of amateur films.
Yeah.
Filmmakers.
Right. Somewhere okay. Somewhere right. But some of
24 hours.
and one of the hard things is getting the sound, because they're like good equipment, a lot of them, and so the sound was never that good. Most of them. There was a couple that were, they knew what they were doing.
Well, I guess it all depends on how sophisticated your equipment is, what kind of money you got. Good reads on the graves today. Down in the cemetery in Kenosha. And Diane bought 4 reads. Went to another cemetery. You gotta have these stands.
Oh, that one.
Fire stand, you gotta have one. Really? Yeah. Well, not anymore. But,
Just your food, Mom.
yeah. I mean, you can't just like put it on the ground. And I don't know if you know this, but there are no headstones. They're all flush with the ground. Yeah. Headstones.
So you could just drive the lawnmower over them.
But, a lot of them walk around there, a lot of them are like, they're going over. So, I mean, if you don't maintain it, they're not maintaining it.
Well, when we drove, one here, there's plenty of room.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of graves and that's far up there now. You feel this must be where they do the comedy sports. Blue and the red team, I think. They got two. I don't know exactly what it is. But it's some kind of petition.
I'm just like, I look at it and I think,
No, I think they're like teams.
Or you just buy your phone and what do you bring into Thanksgiving?
Apple pie everywhere.
Oh, that's right.
Who said it was a comedy? Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Anthony Wood, creator of this mess you're going to see tonight, or as I'm known these days, Skinny Santa, because of the beard. And nobody likes a skinny Santa. You are invited for an evening of fun and levity and laughter, which after the last few weeks, a lot of people are fairly down and depressed of the happenings, current events. I'm speaking, of course, of the Packers. And the loss of modern democracy as we know it. I forgot about that one. That happened too. But what we're going to be doing tonight, let me fill you in. About 3 years ago, my lovely wife and muse, Claudia Luz, some of you might know her, give her a big hand. She came up to me on a Sunday afternoon and said, you should write a sitcom. And I said, okay, what should I write about? I was feeling in a particularly Canadian mood that day, and I said, what should I write about? And she said, you know, we spent over 10 years working freelance at the local Milwaukee PBS station. It's a big institution. Most people you worked with should be institutionalized. How about that? In about a week, between a week and 10 days, I outlined 8 episodes and wrote 4, so that kind of just spilled out. We went out to LA right after that to what they call a pitch fest, which is slang in Hollywood for an Amway party, where you basically give them money and they don't buy anything you pitch and they all go home and with all your money. And I realized it's tough these days with, with all the information and everything getting lost in the white noise, and half the adult population is illiterate. Nobody really reads, or maybe a quarter. Nobody really reads things, and it's very, very tough to get people to notice your work. So what we did was we decided to do a staged reading, what we call a proof of concept. I don't know why I'm using quotation marks on that. It's a proof of concept. We want people to see it on its feet, see actors read it, see if the material actually works. So you are guinea pigs in part of a risky experiment we're doing to see if this material actually works. What we're doing too is, if you came in, you saw a stack of cards there and there's a comment box. You don't have to do it now, but certainly at intermission, we'd love, if you like the show, fill out a comment card. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you thought was funny. Tell us if you think it would work as a show. You don't have to put your name on it, but please, if you loved the show, if you liked it, put it in that box. If you didn't like the show, if you thought it was one of the most horrible things you ever saw, if it wrecked your holiday season, fill out a card and put it in there, because we would love to ignore those as well. As a warning, this is an adult-oriented sitcom, something that would be produced on HBO or one of the cable stations. If you are offended by certain adult material or language, or if you brought children to the show, tough titties, because we're doing the material anyway, so it's going to go as stand. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to bring this talented cast on stage. Talented cast? Is the whole talented cast there? Is the whole talented cast there? Yeah, mama. And by the way, this is also being webcast to the world, so say hi to the people in Australia. Good eye, mate. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the, of course, the opening theme song to the show, and we'll get this thing started. Thank you.
Who can talk the world off of the ledge? Who can take a knitting show and raise all the money for it in a pledge? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. But if you piss off the union, you'll blow it. Cameras and the lights are so seducing. It's not Hollywood that you're producing. We're shows for your public TV. You're here to make public TV.
What kind of person watches fishing? Or how to make a driftwood chair, or the Jewish food that they're conditioning? Well, it's us folks, and we should know it. With every cooking show and pledge drive, we show it. We can have the shows that feed our hobbies.
British comedies make us feel snobby. It's all here on public TV. We're here to watch public TV.
I just want to take the time to say that tonight's reading is brought to you by our sponsors, Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue, Brenner Brewing Company, ComedySportz, Bob and J Star, and 5 Nines. Do you know data when you see it? Could you pick it out in a crowd if it wore round glasses and a red striped shirt? Probably not. But it's all around you. That fruitcake recipe you got from your mother-in-law? Data. The meme your cousin sent you with a picture of Willy Wonka that reads, "Oh, you use chopsticks at Panda Express? You must be very cultured." Data. The zip file of naked Russian coal miners, the one your wife found and you told her, "I don't know how it got there." Data. Data is everywhere, in our lives, in our dreams, with the loose change in the cushions of our couch, but we don't know it. There is someone, however, who does. 5 nines. Data centers, web creation, hosting, and internet services. They know data, and they're coming to Milwaukee. Episode 1, pilot episode, day 1. Deep in the Wisconsin North Woods, from a video camera point of view, it is chaos. We hear people screaming as the camera rushes to 3 people, a woman and 2 men, jammed against a tree, fending off an attacking deer.
For God's sake, do something!
The woman, a producer, screams and swings her clipboard at the deer. The deer is rearing on its hind legs and kicking at them. It bellows an unearthly howl as it does. One of the men, a sound man, wears headphones and a remote audio mixer around his neck. He tries desperately to run, but is being frantically grabbed by the other man, an on-camera host who sports a thick beard and wears camouflage hunting gear. He is the one screaming like a kidnapped Girl Scout. The host is trying in vain to scramble up a tree. The camera jumps and shakes, trying to capture the action. The producer looks into the camera and screams. The scene freezes and a graphic appears on screen. Day 7. Cut to black. Fade up. Milwaukee City Street. The camera points up to a tall 70s industrial-looking building, all glass and plain brick. A carved metal sign above the entrance reads, WMGT, Milwaukee Public Television. A graphic appears on screen saying, Day 1. The camera swings down to reveal Claudia Wynn, the producer from the opening scene. She's a bright, attractive woman in her late 20s. She carries a polka dot tote bag. She looks up at the sign, smiles, and enters through the front door. Claudia steps off the elevator and into the outside lobby of the TV station. She confronts an enormous, ominous-looking steel door full of bolts and rivets. It has grooves and scratches in its surface. Milwaukee Public TV is stamped into the metal plate of the door. Next to the door is a glass security window, behind which sits a plump, middle-aged receptionist who's talking on the phone. Claudia waves, but the receptionist is turned away. Claudia sees a red button on the wall next to the steel door. A piece of paper is taped above the button and reads, Bell out of order. Please knock. Very hard. Claudia knocks on the door. No response. She knocks again. Harder. No response. She pounds on it with her fists. Ouch. Nothing. Finally, in desperation, she picks up a nearby metal wastebasket and begins hammering it into the door. Very hard. The receptionist turns and sees her, smiles, and buzzes her in. The buzzer sounds like something from a World War I Soviet factory. Claudia picks up her tote, smiles, and pulls open the door. We realize from the door's scratches and grooves that she's not the first one to use the wastebasket. As the door opens, we see it is about 18 inches of solid steel. Claudia enters and approaches the receptionist.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Claudia Wynn. I have an appointment with Mr. Coombs.
Oh, sure. Just have a seat. He'll be right out.
Thanks.
Claudia sits on a padded bench in the reception area. She looks over and sees the actor, Tim Conway, sitting further down on the bench. He's very old. His suit is frayed at the elbow and collar. His tie is full of food stains. He looks a bit confused as he thumbs through a magazine. Claudia is surprised, then moves down the bench toward him.
Excuse me, but aren't you?
Tim Conway, darling. But you can call me Tim. Or just, Timmy.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm just making a special appearance for... You have to help me.
What?
God, please help me. They won't let me leave.
Who? I don't understand.
They make me stay out here all day. No food, no water for months. Please, you have to help me, please.
But
Please.
I don't...
Shh. Maurice Coombs enter from a nearby door. He's an enormous man, 6'5", pushing 400 pounds. He's very nattily dressed in a wool three-piece suit. He has a neatly groomed beard and slick back hair. He floats over to Claudia and Tim Conway, smiling. He has a lilting southern accent.
Hello there, Miss Wynne. How are you?
Oh, hello, Mr. Coombs.
Oh, please, it's Maurice. We don't stand on formalities here. Well, how you doing, Tim?
Oh, fine. Fine, Mr. Coombs.
Everything all right out here? Need anything? Water? Candy bar?
No, I'm fine. Real good, fine.
Well, that's good. Come on into my office, Claire.
Claudia, actually.
See you later, Tim.
Right. Good.
Tim Conway warily glances over to the receptionist. She gives him a stern look. He goes back to his magazine. Maurice's office is plush and lined with rich, dark mahogany paneling. Maurice lowers himself behind an enormous oak desk. He motions Claudia to sit. She does in a chair opposite the desk.
Well, Miss Wynne, I am pleased to congratulate you and welcome you as the newest producer for WMGT Public Television.
Oh, gosh, thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, I have to admit we had some pretty highly qualified candidates for the position.
We jump cut. In Claudia's chair, we see a thin woman with owl-eyed glasses.
Will I get workman's compensation for my hypoglycemia?
We jump cut. In the chair is an older stout man wearing lederhosen and playing the accordion. We jump cut. In the chair is a nervous, twitchy man with crazed eyes and a t-shirt with the message, "We are not alone." Alien abduction, black ops helicopters, repeated anal probing. We jump cut. In the chair is a Hindu man wearing an ornate Sherwani jacket, a bright blue turban, and a well-groomed beard curling out at the ends.
I want to produce a 20-part series on the Panchanantara.
Jump cut back to the chair. Claudia.
Wow, that's terrific, really.
Now, as for your job description, I'd like for you to look at yourself as a floater, Claire.
Claudia, floater?
Yes, as you know, we have some popular, well-respected shows on our local schedule.
I know.
Wisconsin Outdoors.
Don Little, the host of the show, is standing in a rowboat aiming a shotgun. He fires, the recoil shoots him into the water.
Sewing with Shirley.
Shirley, the host of the show, is running fabric through a sewing machine. She sews her hand.
Jesus!
Afro Nouveau.
Lydia Cooper, the host, is a serious African-American woman wearing a colorful traditional African dress and headpiece. She sits in a chair on set with a sign behind her reading, Afro Nouveau. A crew member is trying to fasten a microphone on her.
Bob's Painting Corner.
Bob Beamer, host of the show, stands at an easel supporting a landscape painting of a cabin in the snow. He holds a palette and a paintbrush. He sports a huge curly white man's afro and a goatee. He slaps the brush back and forth on the easel below the painting and chuckles.
I love doing that.
And a host of others. To be frank, Claire,
Claudia.
most of our shows are understaffed. They're just spilling TV crumbs all over the floor, right and left. What we need you to do is to catch those crumbs before they hit the floor, plate them up, and put them all together into a nice-looking, rich slice of TV cake. Can you do that for me?
Well, I don't really bake.
Fine. And if there's one vital thing I want you to remember, it is this.
He gestures her to lean forward. She does. He leans towards her.
Beneath the shadow of my sword lies paradise.
There is a long pause as she processes her confusion, revulsion, fear, and bewilderment. Finally,
Okay.
Great. Well, I'll give a call down to Denny Vlasic. He's our production coordinator. He can give you the full tour. Okie dokie?
Great.
they both get up and Maurice shows her to the door.
And if you need anything, Claire, my door is always open.
It's Claudia.
The door shuts behind her.
Actually.
Claudia sees the empty bench by the reception desk. She turns to the receptionist.
Where's, who? Nothing.
Denny should be right down.
The receptionist takes a small can of air freshener from her desk drawer.
You might want this.
Air freshener. What?
Denny Vlasic enters. He's a stooped, dour man in his 30s with greasy black hair and thick glasses. His most prominent feature is that he is constantly drenched in sweat. His armpits, his back, even the crotch of his pants, soaked through with perspiration. And with the sweat comes the odor.
Hi, how are you?
Claudia is physically repulsed by the smell. She tries hard not to show her reaction, but retching is right around the corner.
Hi, Denny, right?
Denny Vlasic, right. Ready for the grand tour?
Lead on.
She wipes the sweat from her hand on her skirt, and he pulls something from his pocket.
Oh, I almost forgot. Had a name tag made for you.
Oh.
She looks at it. It is a light blue name tag with the station logo, and in it is carved her name, Claire Wynn.
Huh.
Well, onward and upward.
He leads her away, leaving the receptionist who is gagging into a handkerchief at her desk. Through her security window, we see a mailman pounding on the door with a wastebasket. Denny leads Claudia down a cold, sterile brick hallway. The ceiling tiles are in disarray, and a wave of cords, cables, wires, and ducts spills out of them, dangling precariously above the heads of anyone who's walking by. People pass them, most of them discreetly holding their noses or covering their faces as they pass Denny. In the hallway, a man wearing welding goggles is bent over an open utility box built into the wall. Sparks and flames shoot out as he welds something within the bowels of the wall.
Oh, there's Stan. Hey, Stan.
The man stops welding and straightens up. He pulls his goggles on top of his head. He's Stan Fritzl. He's a short, slight fellow wearing a short-sleeve shirt, wide clip-on tie, polyester slacks, and a welding apron. He sports horn-rimmed glasses and a bristly mustache.
Hello, Denny.
Stan Fritzl, this is Claire Wynn, our new producer.
It's Claudia, actually.
Really?
She smiles weakly at Denny, holds out her hand to her. She hands him the name tag. He puts it in his pocket.
What's the rumpus, Stan?
Oh, we've had a few glitches in the network. Just trying to trace it down. Thought I'd shore up some of the relay harnesses while I had it open.
You gonna get this back to normal anytime soon?
Well, sure, probably.
Stan's the head of the tech department. Anything that has to do with the hardware, cameras, computers, editors, Stan's baby.
That's right. I'm the man.
You are the man.
Stan the man.
Oh. Stan the man. Yeah. Yeah, Stan the man. Stan the man. I am Stan. I am the man. Stan, man, Stan, man. Standing, Manny.
You want to tighten it up there, Stan?
Manny. Sure thing.
We'll head over to Master Control.
Denny leads Claudia through another door marked Master Control. They walk down a hallway past tall glass walls, behind which is a massive array of monitors, tape decks, computers, and broadcast hardware.
So this is Master Control. It's the heart and soul of the station. This is where the magic happens.
Cool.
Denny opens a glass door and leads her in. The room is filled with 4 technicians, all men, all middle-aged, all with some sort of facial hair and beer bellies. They all lean back in office chairs. They all are, in one way or another, eating a donut. One reads a magazine. One of them is knitting a sweater, a donut clenched in his teeth.
Hey, guys. Everything running like clockwork? Later, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Denny leads Claudia through an empty studio. It is vast, with an array of lights hanging from the ceiling grid. Studio cameras on large pedestals rest in the corner.
So this is Studio A. Studio B is over on the other side, just like this one, except reversed.
A group of people are assembling a set in the center of the studio. Denny and Claudia approach them. Leading the group is Jimmy Hankey, set designer. He is extremely effeminate. Tight knit shirt with a bit of a pooch, tight jeans, cowboy boots, and many wristlets.
No, people. The magenta cones stack on top of the spattered cubes. It's asymmetric, duh.
What's the skinny, Jimmy?
Oh, just trying to get this set together for the community report show. They want it by 5. I can only spatter so much paint, right?
Jimmy Hankey, this is Claudia, our new producer.
Hi.
Oh my God, girl. I love what you're wearing.
Really?
I mean the tights with the multi-skirt and those little cloggy shoes. Killer. Spin around. This is so hot, so cool, so tightly lukewarm, and that polka dot bag? Are you kidding me? You're like a hip little Japo Pokemon schoolgirl. It's fabulous.
Well, thank you.
Well, we move on. Bye, Jimmy.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you.
Denny and Claudia head to a studio exit door.
He's not really gay.
Yeah, right.
No, he's really not.
He heads out the door. She follows, confused. Denny opens the door to a storage room and turns on the light switch. A vast room filled with shelves lined with props and set pieces of every size and shape. The room seems to go on to infinity.
This is the prop shop. You need any kind of prop or set piece, it's probably in here somewhere. Jimmy has it all cataloged.
Denny leaves. Claudia starts to go but sees some movement on a lower shelf. She looks closer and sees Tim Conway climbing into a sleeping bag in a makeshift bed on the bottom shelf. He wears footy pajamas and holds a teddy bear. He sees her, smiles, and waves. She waves back. He mouths, "Get the light." She turns off the light and shuts the door. Denny leads Claudia into the production offices. It is a monument to cubicles and fluorescent lights. People in the office suddenly cover their noses and spray air freshener into the air. Denny leads her to another door and opens it.
This is your office through here.
He turns on the lights. It is a cramped room with stacks of boxes filled with paper and videotapes.
We were using it for storage. It was supposed to be cleared out.
He starts moving some boxes off of a desk in a corner.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Really?
Sure, really, no problem.
He moves a box to reveal a large tube monitor on a desk.
We got the computer set up for you. It's right under there.
He takes a keyboard and a mouse out of a box and sets them on the desk.
You're gonna need these.
Okay, I'll just get this set up and get things squared away and I'll be good to go. Thanks.
You sure?
Yep, no problem.
Denny leaves. She starts to hook up the keyboard. He steps back in, looking at the floor seriously.
I sweat.
What?
I sweat. I know. I sweat. I sweat a lot.
No.
Yeah, I've sweated for a very long time, since puberty. I sweat. I'm of Latvian heritage, and I sweat. I just wanted to be upfront about that.
Well, okay.
Okay, and I make a good living, too, a fine living.
Oh, really?
I live with my mother because I want to.
Super.
He exits. She looks down at the old tower computer under her desk. She wipes the thick layer of dust from its face, and it reads, Pentium 220.
Oh, lovely.
She turns on the computer, it whirs and chugs. Finally, the old monitor lights up. The splash screen reads, Windows 3.0.
Oh, how very lovely.
Fade out. Fade up. Interior TV station the next day. The camera tracks down the hall of a station. It stops by a herd of pot-bellied technicians who gather like a hungry herd of wildebeest around a table full of donuts and coffee. It moves to a man sitting in the hallway playing a banjo. He wears coveralls and a straw hat. He looks up and smiles and winks at the camera. The camera moves down the hall to a doorway. Inside is a bearded man with thinning hair and a protruding brow making copies at a copy machine. Stacks and stacks of copies are spewing from the machine. The man turns and looks menacingly at the camera. The camera moves away towards the production offices. It moves around the cubicles till it gets to the doorway of Claudia's office. Claudia sits glumly at her desk with stacks of boxes surrounding her in the room. A single flowering plant sits on her desk. The fluorescent light on the ceiling flickers. A graphic appears on screen. Day 2. Claudia tries to tap out something on the computer, and the screen crashes to blue.
Ah!
Lydia Cooper, the host of Afro Nouveau, enters Claudia's office. She's wearing her regular street clothes and is sucking on a Tootsie Pop. She is still very serious and stern.
You the new girl?
Yeah, my name is...
Lydia plops a huge 3/4-inch video cassette tape on her desk, cutting her off.
Shot this at the Curl Up and Diabetes Salon yesterday. Need you to log it.
Lydia starts heading out. Claudia stares blankly at the tape.
You want this logged?
Did I stutter?
Lydia exits. Claudia makes her way up a long, steep stairway, tape in hand. Coming down the stairs in one of those motorized stair chairs for handicapped people is one of the technicians. His belly hangs out between his knees as he slowly rides the chair downwards. He's eating a chicken leg. Claudia meets him at the hallway in the halfway point and squeezes by him.
Hello. Hello.
The technician grunts a hello and glides past her. She finally gets to the top of the stairs. She steps into a door that says offline edit. She knocks on it lightly and slowly opens it.
Hello?
The room is dark, but for the glow of random TV screens. Illuminated by one in an edit bay is Tom Birch, a young, tall, handsome fellow, about Claudia's age. He turns and sees her.
Hi, come in.
Hi. I take it this is where I log tape?
Yep.
Can you believe this? I mean, this should be in a museum.
I hear you.
I mean, my phone shoots better video than this.
Yeah, digital is kind of a dirty word around here. Union house, union rules. I'm Tom, by the way, Tom Birch.
Claudia Wynn. So, what do you do around here, Tom?
Oh, I'm the normal, funny, handsome character you're supposed to be attracted to.
What?
Oh, freelance production. I basically do all the things that the inept staff producers can't or won't do to complete their programs. Only I do it for half the pay and no benefits.
Ah, a win-win.
Well, not for long.
What are you working on?
You know Ted Olbauer?
Oh, the Wishin' Fisherman. My dad loves that show.
Well, this is a short, sort of a behind-the-scenes documentary.
He hits the play button. On screen, we see a stocky, middle-aged man in fishing supply store, Ted Olbauer. The walls are filled with fishing poles and lures. Ted has a long porn mustache and wears waders and a T-shirt that says, "I could hold my rod all day." He wanders down the aisle of the store and speaks to the camera.
Now is the time in the spring of the year to restock your tackle box. Now, the first lure I like to pick up is
He stops and bends over slightly, holding his belly.
Oh, jeez, I shouldn't have had that extra knockwurst.
Ted wrenches up his face and squeezes out a loud, trumpeting fart. The screen jump cuts to Ted by a boat dock, farting long and loud again. Another jump cut, another continuation of the fart aria. This goes on for many seconds as each fart blends in with the next, creating a single, lilting, ever-changing symphony. Claudia is laughing uncontrollably. She's clenching her face and holding her hand over her mouth to no avail. Each fart cut just adds to her hysteria. Tears stream from her eyes as the infinity fart goes ever onward. In the TV station, we see folks going about their day-to-day with the faraway fart as background music. People stocking shelves, Stan Fritzl soldering a circuit board and a monitor, the quartet of donut-eating technicians in master control, Jimmy Hankey and a crew assembling a set in a studio. In the edit suite, the fart still continues as Claudia is gasping for air, holding her sides from laughter cramps. After what seems an eternity, the fart noise starts to taper off, ending in a high-pitched question mark of expelled gas. There's a pause as Tom holds up his hand.
Wait for it.
Claudia can't take it. She flops off the chair and onto the floor. Tom stops the video and smiles triumphantly.
And that's just part one.
Claudia climbs back into the chair, recovering.
It's nice to see your freelance hours put to good use.
Well, like I said, not for long. They're filling a staff producer's position this week, and I am the prime candidate.
I think I'm the new staff producer.
What?
I was just hired yesterday.
No. You're the new freelancer.
Nope. Mr. Coombs made it official. Got my own office, desk, computer.
God damn it!
She recoils. Tom picks up a small monitor and throws it to the floor, stamping on it and screaming. He charges out of the edit suite, leaving Claudia in a confused stupor. Fade out. Fade up. TV station, meeting room, 2 days later. We are close to the end of some kind of plastic horn. The sound of a loud trumpeting emits from it. A graphic on the screen appears reading Day 4. We pull back to reveal Don Little, the host of Wisconsin Outdoors, blowing into some kind of homemade trumpeting device made from PVC pipe and various valves. Don sports a thick lumberjack beard, jeans, suspenders, and a camo sweater. He stops trumpeting. Sitting at a table in the room are Claudia, Denny, and Maurice. That is, of course, the spring mating call of the northern white-tailed deer. People have tried to replicate it over the years with very little success. But I met this fall a fellow on a hunting trip who made one of these in his garage workshop. The sound is perfect.
So, what's it supposed to do exactly?
Well, it's like Viagra for the male deer. The bucks are in a rut right now, and when they get an earful of that trumpeting noise, it's like a sweet, voluptuous young doe saying, "Come on, baby. I'm here, I'm ready, and I want you."
That's sweet.
Fascinating.
If we can get a crew up to Shawamagon this week, he can take us out into the woods and call in some rutting bucks. It'd be great to get on tape.
Sounds like a segment to me.
I agree. Claire, I want you to be lead producer on this.
Really?
You have to start somewhere.
Denny slides a stack of papers in front of Claudia.
These are our basic segment rugdown forms. You put them in the segment name, host, location.
As Denny explains, a steady drip, drip, drip of sweat falls from his nose and onto the papers. She swipes them away periodically as he continues.
Number of crew needed and any contact names.
The fellow's name is Gary Sikosiak. He has a place just outside of Winneconne near Shiocton.
Thanks for the opportunity, Maurice.
Of course. And just remember, my dear, the shadow of my sword.
Righto.
They head out of the meeting room. We follow Claudia down the hallway, and she passes an open door and sees Tom in an equipment room, cleaning video camera lenses on a workbench. She enters, shyly.
Hey,
Hey.
I just got my first segment to produce.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for the outdoor show, heading up to the North Woods.
Great.
Look, I'm really sorry about the other day. I didn't know.
2 years. 2 years I've been here, every day, doing every little menial shit job I've been asked. I edit, I shoot, I make copies, I fetch lunch, I clean these fucking cameras, making next to nothing. All for the chance, for an opportunity, however small, to maybe get a staff position.
Tom.
And then I see a crack. A small door opens. Finally, after 2 years. And who gets to walk through the door? You.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't complain. I did get a raise out of the deal.
Oh, there, you see?
75 cents an hour. Now I can start planning that trip to Vienna. You know why I didn't get that job? I didn't fit the profile. Because I'm young and white and have all my arms and legs and I have a dick. You get the job.
Wait a minute.
Fresh out of community college.
Milwaukee Tech.
Oh, pardon me.
Look, I'm a very qualified person. I finished in the top percentile of my class.
I'm Milwaukee Tech.
And many qualified people interviewed for this job.
We jump cut to the accordion player sitting in Maurice's office, smiling and playing. The owl-eyed woman, the twitchy man, and the Hindu man dance around him. Cut back to Claudia.
So, you're not the only one with skills around here, Mr. Whiz Kid.
You know, you're probably a very nice person. No, you are. You're very nice, and you're attractive, and you're funny, and you seem really smart, and who knows? In another world, we might have hit it off and dated, gotten serious, committed, started a production company together, and live out the rest of our lives as a happy, childless, by choice couple. With a condo in the city and a farm out in the country.
As Tom is saying this, Tim Conway comes out of a cabinet. He sneaks over to the workbench and takes a camera battery.
Tim, put that back.
Tim puts the battery back and slinks out of the room, embarrassed.
But that's not this world. And you need to know, as long as you sit in that chair, behind that desk, in that office, in this building, you're my mortal enemy.
Fine.
Good. Fine.
She leaves. He stops working, feeling conflicted and upset. Fade out. Fade up, deep in the Wisconsin North Woods. Through the lens of a video camera, we see a deer far away in the forest. Leaves and branches frame the shot. The deer stands majestic, his antlers gleaming in the dappled sunlight. We hear whispers off camera.
Is that him?
Yep.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Give him a blast, Gary. The deer trots and starts toward the camera, snorting.
Oh, here he comes. Wow, he's really moving fast. Should he be going that fast?
Stop, Gary. Gary, stop.
Guys!
Gary, for God's sake. The deer is upon them, braying and snorting.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
The deer crashes into the camera. We hear screaming, shouting, braying, and the sound of a PVC trumpet being trampled on. Cut to black. Fade up. Tom makes his way down the hallway of the station. He has on his jacket and a laptop bag over his shoulder. He passes a group of Polish folk dancers rehearsing outside of one of the studios. He rounds a corner and passes Stan Fritzl pulling a huge wad of cable from behind the ceiling tiles. He walks past a technician eating the crumbs off of a now empty donut and coffee table. He makes his way to the reception area and waves to the receptionist.
Good night. Night, Tom. See you tomorrow, Tim.
Tim Conway's sitting on one of the reception area benches eating a candy bar. His face is full of chocolate.
Bye, Tommy.
Tom grabs the doorknob of the security door. On the opposite side of the door stands Claudia, Don Little, the sound man, and the cameraman. They all look worse for wear. Their faces are filthy, their clothes are torn, and Claudia's hair is sticking out everywhere in a ratted, leaf-filled mess. The sound man is slamming the wastebasket into the door. The door opens and Tom steps through. He heads for the elevator.
Night, everyone.
They all mutter an exhausted response. The elevator door opens and Tom gets on. He turns and calls to Claudia.
Hey, how'd your first shoot go?
Claudia stands by the open security door. She turns to him.
Blow me.
Will do. See you tomorrow.
The elevator doors close. Claudia weakly shuffles through the doorway and the door closes behind her. We close in on the shot of the plate saying Milwaukee Public TV. End of episode 1. Before we start episode 2, I'd like to tell you about our sponsors, Brenner Brewing Company, ComedySportz, Bob and J Star 5-9s, and Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue. You know, some folks claim to do barbecue. Oh, sure, they try to find the best cuts of beef and pork, ribs, steaks, and brisket. Oh, they might try and spin your head with terms like slow roasting or smoke cured. And they'll try to pass off their cuts of meat with sauces they call authentic or award-winning. They'll try and call it barbecue. And you know what? It is barbecue, but it's not bitchin' barbecue. That can only be found at Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue, located in beautiful downtown Dodgeville, Wisconsin. Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue offer the world's best brisket, pulled pork, chicken, and fish, all served on heaping platters as a dinner or a sandwich, Carolina style. And their sauces, truly award-winning. And don't forget their huge selection of beers and ales brewed right here in the Dairy State, from lagers to IPAs to the darkest oatmeal stouts. Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue. So good, you'll lick your napkin. Episode 2, Voices of the Past. Interior of a studio. A grainy through-the-lens video image of Bob Beamer of Bob's Painting Corner, standing in front of an easel with his palette and brush. He's late middle-aged with a frizzy blonde afro and goatee beard. He smiles at the camera as he smacks his brush on the lower part of the easel, trying to clean it. He has a smooth, calm demeanor.
I always get a kick out of doing that. Makes me smile. Now, let's dip the bristles into our phthalo green and also mix in some yellow ochre.
As Bob continues speaking, we pull back to see the image as the viewfinder of one of the studio cameras. Operating the camera is a cameraman. He's chunky with a thinning hair and donut crumbs around his lips and on his chin. He wears thick glasses and a headset. Over the headset, we hear the voice of Jack Aronson, the director.
And pull back on camera 3, cut to camera 3, refocus on camera 2, truck in, hold, closer, hold, cut to camera 2. Okay, camera 1, stay on the wider.
As Jack talks, we see the rest of the studio. All of the cameramen are wearing dark rain ponchos covered in splotches of paint, all colors of the spectrum. The cameras are covered in plastic. There is a paint-covered drop cloth on the floor. Our view cranes up and enters the studio control room high above. Behind the glass, sitting at the control panel, is Jack Aronson and an assistant director. Jack is short and nervous. He has a salt and pepper beard and thinning brown hair. He fidgets in his chair and he looks up at the bank of monitors on the wall. The assistant is young, thin, and gawky. She has greasy hair, a severe overbite, and a lateral lisp. She works the camera switcher as Jack waves his arms like a symphony conductor.
And cut to camera 1.
Cutting to camera 1.
Tighter on camera 2 and cut to camera 2.
Cutting to camera 2.
No, cut to 3. Camera 3.
Ignore camera 2. Cutting to camera 3.
Okay, let's hold on camera 3 for a bit. Refocus camera 2.
cutting. Refocus that camera 2.
Sitting behind Jack and the assistant are Tom Birch and Claudia Wynn, and they are in mid-argument.
I don't care. You can't have it.
Why? You don't even need it.
I might.
You have the whole week slated for remote shoots, and you're not using half of them. Shh. Could we have it quiet, please?
I don't care.
Just need today.
For what?
Choo-choo chatter. We're doing a rush piece on an antique train in Palmyra.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. Nope.
Jesus, take a break from being a dick for 5 minutes.
She looks up at one of the monitors and points.
Oh my God. Can you believe that?
I know, right?
It's like 3 dabs of paint, and it looks just like a pine tree.
It's amazing.
Back to the argument.
I'm just asking for one day, tight ass.
Oh, you noticed? I have been working out. Okay. You can have today, but I get something in return.
What?
Your computer.
My computer? It's like 100 years old. You have to start it with a hand crank.
I don't care. I want it.
Why?
Because I don't have one, and you do.
And what are you going to do with it?
Nothing. But you won't have it, and I will.
All right, deal.
They shake hands as they get up to leave. On the monitors, we see Bob Beamer shouting and throwing his palette and brushes. Now we know the reason for the protective camera plastic. We hear him through the control room speakers.
God damn it! It's not right! It's not right! It's not right!
He starts tearing at the painting with a palette knife.
I can't do anything! I'm a hack! I'm nothing! Nothing!
He starts attacking one of the cameras.
Ah! Mommy! Mommy!
Okay, let's reset. Back to 1. Does somebody want to calm Bob down?
Floor Crow, let's calm down, Bob. Hot towel, the Dr. Pepper standing by, please. Back to 1.
Claudia and Tom exit the control room.
You're a sick man.
Thank you.
Stan Fritzl is on a stepladder in the midst of the cubicles. His whole upper torso is in an opening in the ceiling tiles. Wires and ductwork dangle out around him. Leaning against the ladder is a technician, overweight and eating a donut. His way of assisting. Denny Vlasic approaches the ladder. He is, as usual, drenched in sweat. He stops at the ladder and calls up.
What's the poop, Stan?
Stan pokes out his head from the ceiling. He wears heavy magnifying glasses with built-in lights.
Everything's A-okay on this level. We may have to go up to the roof and check the dish.
Well, get on it. We have a SAT meeting at 2:30.
Righto, fix the sat. Diddly-dat. Cat in the hat. How about that?
Stan continues his mumbling as he goes back up into the ceiling. Claudia stands by a large dry erase board on the wall. It is gridded off into calendar dates. She writes on Wednesday the 23rd, choo-choo shoot, Palmyra. In the square is already written, camera, Matthew. Lydia Cooper approaches. She's sucking on her usual Tootsie Pop. She looks up at the board.
Uh-oh. You got Matthew shooting?
Yeah, is that a problem?
You meet him yet?
No.
Lydia rolls her eyes and strolls away.
Good luck.
Claudia shakes her head, confused. Lydia calls from across the production office.
Hey, you can't just write it on the board, you know. You have to log it into the network, too.
Claudia turns and sees Tom coming out of her office with her computer, monitor, keyboard, and mouse stacked on a rolling cart. He smiles and waves at her as he heads out. There's a flash of light and a huge mass of sparks that pour down from the ceiling where Stan is working. He comes down the ladder with his glasses fogged and his hair smoking.
Time to head to the roof.
Claudia pokes in her head into Denny Vlasic's office. She knocks on the door.
Knock, knock.
Denny's wiping his armpits under his shirt with some paper toweling.
Yeah, come in.
Denny, I need to see about getting a new computer.
Claudia looks around his office. It is decorated circa 1922. An old Victrola in the corner plays a scratchy recording of Fats Waller singing Honeysuckle Rose. Dusty Victorian photos hang on the wall in ornate gold frames. His desk is wooden and rickety. There's an old black rotary dial phone on his desk. Not a computer, MP3 player, or digital device in sight. Complete Luddite.
What happened to yours?
It blew. You know, poofed.
Well, you'll have to requisition Stan for one. I know he's tied up today. Somewhere. I'll make a note for you.
Denny scratches out a note on a notepad, tears it off, and tapes it to the wall in front of his desk alongside of about 200 other taped notes.
Thank you.
She exits. Claudia wanders into the technical offices where the cameramen hang out. She sees a cubicle with a sign saying Matthew Harlan. She rounds a corner to see Matthew Harlan at his desk. He's a shorter man with a round face, weak chin, and a thin, fuzzy mustache. He has longer 80s hair and aviator glasses. His entire desk area is surrounded with a world record collection of Pez dispensers. Everything from Star Wars to The Sopranos to Game of Thrones, hundreds of them.
Hi, Matthew?
Hi. Claudia?
Yeah.
Hey, glad to finally meet you. Welcome aboard. Looks like we got our first shoot together, huh?
Looks like. Wow. That is a lot of Pez.
Yeah. A little hobby of mine. Started small, kind of got carried away, but, they're fun.
He picks up a Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver Pez dispenser, complete with mohawk haircut, mirrored sunglasses, and he shoves it towards her.
You talking to me? Huh? You talking to me? There ain't nobody else around.
She pulls some candy from the dispenser and eats it.
Oh, you're shooting crazy candy at me. Arr, insanely good. Oh, so, can you be ready in 5?
No problem. I'll see you out front.
Great.
She heads spitting the candy into her hand and tossing it into the basket. In the front reception area, Claudia heads in. Matthew is sitting glumly on one of the padded benches. He's not wearing his glasses.
So, all set?
Yeah, whatever.
Everything okay?
Matthew gets up quickly and grabs his camera sitting next to him.
Let's just do this.
We're without a sound person today, so I'll have to go handheld.
Oh, well, doesn't that make for a perfect day? Shit!
He heads for the door. Claudia glances at the receptionist as if to say, "What's up with him?" The receptionist just shrugs and smiles. Claudia follows Matthew out the door. Approaching the reception area, Stan Fritzl and the technician, and they carry a longer extension ladder.
Roof, goof on the roof, roofity, roof.
The receptionist is on the phone, so she doesn't acknowledge them. Stan and the technician head out the door, and the door shuts behind them. On the city highway, the WGMT production van heads down the road. Claudia and Matthew are in the van. Matthew drives while Claudia sits quietly in the passenger seat. Then,
God damn it! They didn't leave any gas!
We can stop.
The last one to use it is responsible for filling it up for the next crew. Damn that Rodriguez!
It's okay, we have time. We can fill it up, and I can get us a couple of coffees for the road, all right?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, okay.
Not everyone in the world drinks coffee just because you drink coffee. Pisses me off.
Claudia slides as far as she can from Matthew and stares out the window. The TV station roof. Stan and the technician are on the roof. They stand beneath an enormous satellite dish at least 50 feet in diameter. It points upward at roughly a 45-degree angle and is mounted on a tower about 30 feet off the ground. The technician extends the ladder to full height beneath the lower lip of the dish. Stan climbs up with a small toolkit. He has to stand on the top step of the ladder to reach the dish. He tosses over the toolkit, then hoists himself up into the dish. He leans over the edge and calls down.
Okay, all set.
The technician climbs the ladder and reaches the top step. Stan reaches down and grabs the technician's hand. With one mighty grunt, Stan hoists the technician up and into the dish. His momentum causes the ladder to tip back and forth until it falls over onto the ground. Stan and the technician lean over and look down at the fallen ladder. Tim Conway strolls up, grabs the ladder, looks up at them, waves, and scurries off.
Well, that's not good.
Claudia sits in the van holding a to-go cup in a gas station while Matthew gasses up the van. He finishes and climbs in cheerfully. He's wearing his glasses.
Well, she's all topped off. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
He starts the van and they head off.
Those guys, bunch of knuckleheads, huh? Anyway, I can't wait to see this train. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a locomotive loco, if you know what I mean. This should be fun, huh?
Oh, yeah. Fun.
Hey, is that coffee?
She quickly hands the cup to him. He takes it cheerfully. On the TV station roof, Stan is hanging upside down off of the satellite dish. The technician is holding him by the ankles. Stan reaches toward the ground, but he's only about 20 feet short.
Nope, bring me up.
The technician hauls him back up. Stan collects himself and looks over the horizon of the city. The wind howls eerily. There's also an ominous low hum coming from the dish that is prevalent throughout the scenes. A long pause as the camera circles around them.
I don't think anyone knows we're up here.
They look at one another concerned. Historic rural train station. Claudia is interviewing Engineer Ned, a large, rotund fellow wearing striped train engineer bibs and hat. He has a huge gray handlebar mustache, rosy cheeks, and a bulbous nose. He has a gravelly voice like Mr. Haney from Green Acres. Claudia holds out a microphone to him as Matthew operates the camera. They are all standing next to a handsome, perfectly preserved 1800s train. Puffs of steam collect around them as the interview goes on.
So, Engineer Ned, tell us a little bit about old Betsy here.
Well, as I said, old Betsy is an antique long boiler from the early to mid-1800s. We use her to take folks on a 3-hour wilderness loop back into the forests and hills that you can't get to by road these days.
She kind of looks like the old train from Petticoat Junction.
Yeah, she does a bit, yeah. Well, we brought her up here from Georgia, actually. In the old days, she used to carry cargo from Atlanta to all points around the Deep South.
Really? And what kind of cargo did she carry?
Slaves.
Okay, well, let's go for a ride, shall we?
Terrific. Give me 5 minutes to get the pressure up, and you can have your own private tour.
He heads toward the engine. Steam blasts from the train and engulfs Claudia and Matthew. Fade out in the steam. Fade up. Claudia sits looking out the window from old Betsy, a passenger in the train, as the trees and open fields fly by. Her hair blows in the wind. She's elated. She comes back into the car and sits next to Matthew, who is in another down-glum state. His glasses are off.
My God, it's so beautiful. That's a landscape you'll never see from a car.
Yeah. Big freaking whoop.
You really should take a look.
He stares at her with fiery hatred, and he looks down sadly.
I know it's none of my business, but is everything okay?
I'm fine. Don't I look like I'm fine?
No, you do. Fine.
It's just my wife moved out about 3 weeks ago.
I'm sorry.
I'm just really horny, so...
She moves across the aisle from him and into another seat. There's a sudden jerk of the train and then loud screeching noises, and the train spasms to a halt. Claudia gets off the train and walks to the front of the engine, where Engineer Ned is looking underneath the wheels.
Is there a problem, Engineer Ned?
One of the cross beams has gone out askew on the treadle.
Is that bad?
Real bad. Ripped out the whole torsion mount. Bent the mid-axle. I'm afraid we're stuck high and dry.
Yikes.
Well, and we're about halfway through the trip. That means the station is an hour and a half away.
Well, I mean, you have emergency plans in place in case something like this happens, right?
We sure do. Don't you worry. I'm taking care of it right now.
Terrific.
Engineer Ned pats her shoulder, turns around, and starts sprinting down the train tracks. Well, as fast as a man of his age, girth, and bad hip can sprint. After he gets 100 yards or so away...
Where are you going? Engineer Ned!
He disappears over the horizon.
Oh, wonderful.
Back on the TV station roof, Stan and the technician sit in the center of the satellite dish. Stan is emptying out the contents of his small toolkit.
1 Heathkit Pro Volt Tester, 1 wire snips, red handles, 1 pen knife, 1 pocket mirror, 1 box 1/4-inch wire connectors, 1 mini notepad and mechanical pencil, 2 packages plastic zip ties, 1 mini screwdriver set, 3 dimes,
he pulls a Zagnut candy bar from the kit. The technician's eyes brighten.
and 1 Zagnut candy bar.
Stan glances at the technician, who is salivating at the thought of the candy bar. Stan cautiously takes the penknife, opens it, and cuts the candy bar exactly in half. He starts to hand 1 half to the technician, who grabs at it greedily, but Stan pulls it back.
This could be the only food we see for a very long time. We have to eat it slowly and make sure it lasts.
The technician nods at Stan soberly. Stan hands him the half of a candy bar. The technician gobbles it down in 1 bite.
Or not.
Claudia sits glumly on the steps of the train engine. Matthew climbs down from the engine. He's in a good mood. His glasses are on.
Well, no radio, no walkie-talkie, no GPS.
I got no bars.
Certainly is authentic. Looks like we just have to wait it out till help arrives.
He hands her the to-go cup.
Here's your coffee. Hey, maybe we could sing songs, huh? Help pass the time?
I'm sorry, you are...
Quit kidding around, gloomy Gus. Okay, I'll start. She seems to have an invisible touch. And treats us in and grabs right hold of your heart. She seems to have an invisible touch. It takes control and slowly tears you apart.
As he keeps singing, Claudia looks towards the back of the train and sees a little girl, all of 8 years old. She is thin and gaunt and dressed in old 1880s garb, a dark gingham dress, petticoats, and a bonnet on her head. She wears ankle-high button shoes and carries a basket with pieces of coal in it. She's extremely pale.
Oh my God.
The little girl turns and looks at Claudia, wide-eyed and afraid. She pauses, then runs back into the woods down a narrow path.
No, wait.
Claudia gets up and runs after her. Matthew follows.
Did you see that? Did you see her?
What? What are you talking about?
She points at the train.
Get the thing. Get the camera. Get the camera.
Matthew jumps on board and grabs the camera as Claudia runs after the little girl down the path. From Claudia's perspective, the branches on the side of the path brush across her face and stick in her hair. She can barely keep the little girl in view. She rounds a bend, more branches and leaves. She brushes them aside and covers her eyes as she runs. After a while, the leaves and brush thin out. She slows down as she reaches the edge of an opening of a forest. She stops, wide-eyed. She stands next to a weathered wooden sign reading, Old Palmyra.
Oh my God.
We crane up behind her to see the little girl running into a small, quaint, almost ghostly 1880s town. There are a handful of worn and weathered buildings, a grocer, a mercantile shop, a blacksmith barn, and an old church, along with a few older log cabins. 30 or so villagers, all dressed in period garb, turn to look her way. Matthew comes up behind Claudia carrying his camera, and he's without his glasses.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
What a dump.
Fade out. Fade in. Stan and the technician are still in the satellite dish. Stan is flashing a pocket mirror, reflecting the sun into the building across the street. The technician sits picking sweet remnants from his Zegnut wrapper.
If I can just keep repeating the emergency Morse code, I'm sure someone in that building will see it and call for help.
Stan keeps signaling, then slows down. He puts down the mirror and thinks for a moment.
That's the school for the blind, isn't it?
The technician nods, licking the nougat from his fingers. Claudia and Matthew stroll slowly into the old Palmyra town. The historic townsfolk look at them warily as they approach. The women hide the faces of the children, and the men look suspiciously at them. Claudia whispers to Matthew.
I think this is one of those historical recreationist type towns.
Duh.
The little girl Claudia followed is holding the hand of a man who approaches them. He is Mayor Dwight Stingley, Abe Lincoln tall with a vintage suit, bow tie vest, and top hat. He wears pince-nez glasses on his nose. He smiles at them warmly as the little girl hides behind him.
Well, hello there, strangers. Welcome to Old Palmyra. I'm Mayor Dwight Stingley. Who be you, and what might be your business here?
Hi, my name's Claudia Wynn. This is Matthew Harlan. We're a TV crew. We came out on a train ride, and but old Betsy broke down. Her treadle and her main axle thingy. So here we are.
Wendell, a gruff, stocky, dirty blacksmith, approaches them carrying a hammer.
Crew, you here to fix the old Van Valkenburg Bridge? Been out for 3 score.
Now, Wendell, do these folks look like they're dressed for bridge building?
A thin, suspicious-looking woman approaches, eyeballing Claudia. It's the widow Mordecai. Her lips are thin and her face is drawn and wrinkled.
I don't know what they's dressed for. Strange garb, strange talk, strange spoke. I say, put them in the stockade.
Wow, she is really good.
Now, Widow Mordecai, that's not very neighborly, is it? These folks seem a bit distressed and have come a long way. Where did you say you came from? Waterville?
No, Milwaukee.
The crowd gasps. Doc Wallner, an elderly man with gray whiskers and a plaid vest, steps forward.
Milwaukee? But that's over 4 days' ride from here. What would make folks risk their lives traveling all that way?
Up to no good, I say.
Let's calm down, everybody. No need to think the worst. Maybe they came all this way for the festival.
Oh, yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We are here to cover the festival. I'm a reporter.
Ah, the newspapers. Well, it's about time our little festival got the attention it deserved. Although I must say I've never heard of a woman newspaper reporter before. But stranger things have happened. I just can't think of any offhand.
And Matthew is my...
A cheerful Matthew wearing glasses cuts in.
Photo specialist. I'm here to get some glass plate images of the festivities for the readers.
He holds up his camera. The widow Mordecai reacts fearfully and covers the head of the little girl.
Photo cameras, they steal the soul. Hide the children.
Now, let's keep our heads, people. No need to be afraid of new gadgets and technology. Why, I myself have a handsome daguerreotype of Henry Cabot Lodge on my bureau. Harmless as a newborn kitten. May I officially welcome you, Miss Wynn and Mr. Harlan, to the 159th Annual Old Palmyra Festival.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here.
The mayor leads Claudia and Matthew into the town. The quiet, suspicious crowd follows behind.
You're just in time, actually. We're nearly ready to serve up the grand feast. And after that, of course, is the yearly burning.
I gotta say, you folks are committed. I mean, I covered a Civil War reenactment once, and the Confederate guys spent the whole day behind their tent smoking weed and checking their cell phones. You people are locked in.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The TV station roof. Stan and the technician sit glumly in the satellite dish. The sun overhead bears down on them. Their lips are parched and dry. Stan has his shirt wrapped around his head for protection. The technician is stripped down to his wife-beater t-shirt and pants. Stan jots notes into a small notebook while the technician is desperately licking out the inside of the candy bar wrapper. We hear Stan's voiceover as he writes.
Day 1, hour 6, minute 24. No sign yet of rescue or help whatsoever. Don't know how we'll survive much longer. Did I unplug my toaster this morning? Oh, okay. Run through morning routine. Bath, brush, hair, teeth, clothes, shoes, keys, toaster. Right. Toaster. Toaster, roaster, look at the poster, roller coaster.
As Stan mumbles Tourette's-like in his head, he turns to look at the technician, who is staring at Stan hungrily. From the technician's point of view, Stan looks like a giant hot dog, complete with relish and mustard. There is a pause.
You're looking at me like I'm a hot dog again, aren't you?
The technician turns away, embarrassed. In Old Palmyra, the sun is beginning to set as the villagers are gathered around a long, rough-hewn dining table in the town square. The periphery of the square is lit by torches. The table is covered in a red checkered tablecloth and is laden with bowls of food and drink. Claudia and Matthew sit near the head of the table across from the mayor. She wears a gingham dress and Matthew wears a vintage three-piece suit and hat. The camera sits on the table. He adjusts the focus on the lens periodically, judging by the red flashing light. It's obviously running.
So, are you enjoying our little feast, Miss Wynn? I'm sure it's not up to par with the fancy victuals one gets in Milwaukee.
Oh, it's delicious, really.
How have you taken to our squirrel head stew? It is our specialty.
Claudia digs her spoon into her bowl. From the brown gravy comes a skinless squirrel head. The meat hangs from the face around large rodent teeth. Claudia takes the head in her hand and takes a bite from the meat, stretching out the cheek meat until it snaps in her mouth. She winces and then smiles and tries to chew it.
Succulent.
The mayor smiles. Claudia leans into the widow Mordecai, who is sitting next to her. She holds up the squirrel head and points to it.
Actually, it's the best head I've had in months. Huh? No? Okay.
The mayor holds up his wine glass.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet, please.
Claudia whispers to Matthew, who is without his glasses.
Are you getting all this?
Up yours.
Right.
As you know, we've had a very successful gathering this harvest. Our bellies are full and our larders and pantries are overflowing. We owe it all to hard work, diligence, and faith in the good Lord. But let us not forget the one thing, the true thing that assures us every year of the generous bounties we enjoy for generations past and the generations to come. To the burning.
The burning!
Oh, this is getting good.
The crowd stands and keeps chanting, the burning, over and over. They make their way to the far end of town where there is a large pile of wood and timber, in the middle of which sits a tall pole. Claudia and Matthew follow the crowd to the woodpile. The mayor stands in front of the woodpile and holds up his arms, and the crowd quiets.
Bring out the sacrifice.
The crowd turns in unison to the grocery store. Through the front door, led by two burly men, is the little girl that led Claudia to the town. She's wearing a white cotton robe and a ring of flowers in her hair. She looks sadly at the ground as the burly men lead her up to the woodpile. They tie her to the pole in the middle of the pile.
Let the burning begin.
The mayor takes a nearby torch and brings it to the woodpile. Claudia's eyes go wide as she realizes what's going to happen.
Holy shit!
TV station roof. Stan and the technician are exhausted and starving. They huddle together, holding each other. They cry and sob as they try to eat pieces of paper Stan tears from his small notebook. In Old Palmyra, Claudia gasps in shock and runs to the mayor, standing between him and the woodpile.
Wait, what the hell are you people doing? This is wrong!
Do not interfere with the burning, Miss Wynn.
Look, I went along with this up till now, the crazy old babe and the squirrel heads, but I'm sure that barbecuing a little girl is not behavior sanctioned by the American Historical Recreators Association or whatever.
There you see, Mayor, I told you she'd stir up trouble.
You can't interfere with our traditions. We need to make the yearly sacrifice.
Why?
For the squirrels.
What?
The squirrels are our bounty, Miss Wynn. We subsist on them. Squirrel soup, squirrel pie, squirrel fricassee, and our famous squirrel head stew. Over 150 years ago, our forefathers nearly died away after the Great Squirrel Famine of 1722. Luckily, some men of great wisdom saw fit to make a sacrifice, to burn an innocent in order to appease the great squirrel gods and assure a bounteous harvest every season. Without the tradition of the burning, our town would surely perish. We need to keep the squirrels coming.
Grow more nuts.
Claudia climbs the pile of wood and stands in front of the little girl.
You'll burn this little girl over my dead body.
The mayor calms the crowd, then nods at the two burly men. They climb the pile and release the little girl from her rope shackles. Claudia sighs in relief. The little girl holds Claudia's hand, looks up at her and smiles. Claudia smiles back. The little girl's smile suddenly turns dark and evil as she grabs Claudia's hand harder and gives it to one of the burly men. The burly men tie Claudia to the pole.
Wait, what are you doing?
The mayor holds a leather-bound book with a fuzzy squirrel tail bookmark coming from the pages.
It is written in the Book of the Great Fuzzy that should anyone offer to replace the chosen innocent as sacrifice, that their life would be accepted as equal and burned in its stead. Commence the burning.
The crowd begins chanting, burning, burning. Claudia looks out and sees the crowd are all dressed head to toe in squirrel costumes, with their faces visible through the squirrel mouth. Even the little girl wears a baby squirrel costume. The mayor, now in a squirrel outfit and top hat, brings his lit torch to the woodpile and ignites it in a bright, large flame.
No!
The crowd begins dancing around the fire, pantomiming gathering their little nuts between their toes. They chant and make squirrel noises as they squinch their noses. Burning, burning, chirp, chirp, chirp. Burning, chirp, chirp, chirp. Claudia scans the crowd frantically.
Matthew, help! Please be the good Matthew and help me!
She turns and sees a bloodied and nearly unconscious Matthew being carried on the shoulders of 5 of the squirrel mob. They lead him over to a large sharpened log that points like a massive spear out of the ground. They drop him on top of the point of the spear. It pierces through his back and protrudes through his stomach, eviscerating him as it does. Claudia screams in horror as the squirrel crowd continues to chant. It is almost over for her. She suddenly looks down and sees that she's still holding the squirrel head from the stew. She saws at her bonds with the teeth of the skull. Eventually, the ropes cut through and she breaks free. She runs from the inferno and heads frantically down the wooded path, followed by the squirrel mob carrying torches. It is dark, and the branches and leaves smack her in the face as she scrambles in a panic to get away. The squirrel mob can be heard just behind her, chirping in anger. She continues to run, stumbling, screaming, crying. She makes one more frantic leap through the hanging branches, and it is daylight. She runs right into the sizable gut of Engineer Ned. She is out by the train tracks. She looks around, panicked and confused.
Hey, what gives?
Oh my god, run! We gotta run!
Hey, what's going on?
The squirrel people, they had a sacrifice. They killed Matthew. Oh my god, Matthew's dead! He's dead! Oh my god!
Matthew's not dead. He's not. He's right here.
Matthew steps up with his glasses on.
I'm fine, Claudia. I'm right here.
Wait, what? What's happening? What are you doing here?
I went and got help. I saw the sheriff's car about 5 miles down. He said he could give us all a ride back to the station.
Sheriff Taylor, a mild-mannered middle-aged man, stands next to Engineer Ned and tips his hat.
Sheriff, oh my God, Sheriff, they were gonna kill a little girl. They were gonna burn her.
The suspense is killing me. Burn? Where?
This way.
She leads the sheriff, Engineer Ned, and Matthew down the path to the clearing in the woods. It is empty, all but for some weathered stone foundations and rotting logs. Claudia wanders the site, perplexed.
I don't. What happened? They were here. They were all here. The squirrels, the fire, the whole town.
Town? Why, this is old Palmyra, or what's left of it. It's a graveyard now. There ain't been anyone living here in over 160 years.
The camera tracks into Claudia's face. She is dazed and confused. We see the exterior of the TV station building as the production van pulls into the underground parking lot. Claudia and Matthew stand by the elevator in the parking garage. He has his camera on his shoulder. The doors open. They get on. He's without his glasses. They both stand quietly as the elevator rises.
I just don't get it. I don't know what I saw.
Actually, I did put one of my pills in your coffee. It causes hallucinations in some people.
You what?
She starts hitting him with her handbag and pushing him violently against the wall of the elevator.
What the fuck? What were you thinking? Why the fuck would you do something like that?
Well, I thought you passed out so I could have sex with you. I didn't. Lighten up.
She hits him one more time as the elevator doors open. She grabs the wastebasket and starts beating on the security door.
Well, I hope you had fun, asshole, because that little stunt just cost you your job.
The buzzer sounds and she pulls the door open and enters the reception area.
And your career, dickwad.
She heads for Maurice Coombs' office and storms through the door. Maurice sits behind his desk playing with one of those novelty toy storks that bob up and down into a glass of water.
Ah, Claire.
Claudia.
How goes the war?
We've got a problem, Maurice. We've got a big problem.
How so?
Matthew Harlan.
Yes?
He's a menace. He's deranged. He has wild, frightening mood swings. He's unhinged. He's obviously a danger to the staff and anyone who comes into contact with him.
I agree.
You do? Well, you have to do something, Maurice. You have to get rid of him.
Yes, we'd love to do that, but we can't.
What? Why? I mean, he's sick. He's mentally unbalanced.
I know.
Then why can't you fire him?
Because he's sick and mentally unbalanced.
I don't... What?
You see, dear, Matthew falls under the Disability Protection Act of 1982. Under federal law, we cannot practice discrimination by taking any action against him in relation to his mental disorder.
So, the reason you need to fire him...
Is exactly the reason we can't.
That's insane.
Yeah, we get a lot of that here.
Maurice gets up and leads a very confused Claudia to the door.
Now, I'll make sure he's not on your not scheduled on any more of your shoots, and we'll just give him some busy work around the place to keep him occupied and out of trouble. You'll have to excuse me. I have to get over to a staff meeting.
The camera follows Maurice as Claudia ambles away stunned. She looks over at the receptionist, who smiles and shrugs. Maurice makes his way down the hall past a practicing puppeteer and a tap dancer into the large meeting room filled with staff technicians, all eating donuts. Maurice finds a seat at the table.
All right, let's get this underway, shall we?
Stan and the technician enter the room stark naked. They stand in the doorway.
Are we late?
Everyone looks down at the two men's penises. We cut to the roof. A long string of Stan and the technician's clothes form a woven rope that reach down from the satellite dish to the ground. It sways lightly in the breeze. Fade out. End of episode 2. We're going to take a short break, use the bathroom, have a drink. We'll be back in about 5 to 8 minutes. Thank you.
Pause. Pause.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Okay, so there you go. Okay, come up. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little more. Okay, okay. Check 1, 2.
Starting now, the wait is over. as long as you jump the ride. 'Cause I won't highway walk forever, as long as you jump the ride, as long as you follow me. This is what I do, like I do. I've been on the ride before. It never stops at all. It never stops at all. You start your engines like a virgin, as long as you jump the ride. Cut the whip and lose the anchor, as long as you jump the ride, as long as you follow me. This is what I do. Stops at all. Never stops at all. As long as you follow me, this is what I do. Like I do, I've been on the ride before. It never stops at all. It never stops at all. Don't you feel for us that we're all around and round? Don't you hear the endless road to sound? As long as you follow me, this is what I do. Like I do, I've been on the ride before. It never stops at all. It never stops at all. It never stops at
Calling all cast. Calling all cast. We appreciate you people taking the time to do this. I realize that these are just people standing in front of microphones with scripts, and as I read, you have to imagine everything that's going on. But this is a new social media invention we're calling radio. Some of the folks with my color hair know what I'm talking about. Think of it as a podcast, you millennial. You, the two that are in the room. And to let you know that tonight's reading is brought to you by our sponsors, ComedySportz, Bob and J Star, 5 Nines, Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue, and Brenner Brewing Company. You know, the world of craft brewing can be dense, confusing hodgepodge of lights, darts, and lagers. A mind-boggling maze of ales and IPAs. Like finding an enlightened conservative with a sense of fashion, any high-quality craft brew can be a rare golden fleece on a beer drinker's quest. The craft brews by Brenner Brewing Company stand head and shoulders above the rest, with sumptuous names like Bacon Bomb Rauch Beer, Star Baby IPA, and Butterfly Fart Citrus Ale. The folks at Brenner commission local artists to design their beer labels and also create soundtracks for each brew composed by and recorded by local Milwaukee musicians. It doesn't get any more local than that. Brenner Brewery also works with community-minded individuals to support local nonprofit groups and help to make the city a better place. Brenner Brewing Company, the heartbeat of Milwaukee's craft beer community. Are we all here? Episode 3, Birdland. I'm just going to have a short slurp, as the Galloping Gourmet used to say. Oh, I'm really old if I'm referencing that show. On screen of a TV monitor, we see host of Peace, Calm Yoga, Beatrice Hitchcock. She's a thin, sedate woman in her mid-50s with a tight bun of gray hair and an orange leotard. She kneels on a yoga mat on a slightly elevated carpeted stage. Surrounding her are images of birds, eyes, and massage hands, set pieces that hang from the studio ceiling. She speaks directly to camera.
And after the pranayama, we must bounce our legs. Bounce them. Relax and calm and bounce.
She sits with her legs straight out in front of her, bouncing her thighs on the mat.
Now we're going to move on to the Dvipadi Sirasana. Remember, this will improve the hemoglobins in our bloodstream. For our viewers with anemia, this is so very helpful. So, heels up overhead.
She puts her heels up and over and behind her head. She faces the camera in this pretzel position.
And remember to breathe. Breathing is so very important.
We hear the voice of Claudia Wynn off camera.
Okay, hold.
We're in the studio. Claudia, wearing a headset and carrying a clipboard, enters the frame.
Beatrice, we just have to stop and reset camera 2 for the close. Can you hold that position for a sec?
Of course, dear.
All right, guys, let's reset 2 for host close.
The cameras move into position. Standing in the midst of the movement, eating a donut, is a fat technician. He wears thick glasses, a flannel shirt, and work pants. His hair is a thin, greasy comb-over. He stands in front of Beatrice, staring at her with her legs up over her ears. He's transfixed. Claudia approaches him and notices an enormous bulge in his pants.
Oh my freaking Christ, you have got to be kidding me. What kind of sick, degenerate bastard stands there and does something like that?
The fat technician turns to her. He looks down and then pulls a king-size Snickers bar from his pants pocket, hence the bulge. He looks down at her.
Nice.
He walks away insulted.
No, I didn't. I mean, okay, whatever.
The cameras are reset.
All right, rolling on close in 3, 2.
That's all we have for Peace, Calm Yoga today, gentle viewers. And always remember, life is love, love is life, and living life is the love of the life worth living. Love. Shakti, Shakti, Shakti.
The image fades to black on the monitor.
And out. Thank you, Beatrice. Great job, everyone.
The camera crew disperses and the studio work lights come on. Claudia is rubbing her neck, approaches Beatrice.
Oh, thanks for holding for me, Beatrice. Hope it wasn't a bother.
Oh, not at all, dear. I sometimes have my heels up over my ears all night long.
Whoa, got his number?
What?
Nothing.
Beatrice notices Claudia rubbing her sore neck.
Is something wrong, dear?
No, I just slept on it funny last night. New pillow, you know.
Oh, better let me look.
Oh, no.
No, trust me, dear. I lived in a commune for 1.5 years with a chompy massage therapist from Nepal.
Oh. Well then, sure.
Beatrice feels around on Claudia's shoulder and neck. Claudia winces, but smiles as she does.
You see, what happens is that your trapezius becomes conflicted with your scalenius medius and your sternocleidomastoideus.
Oh, well, sure, that makes sense.
Do you have excessive amounts of red meat in your diet?
Oh, good. You know, last night I did have a braised pork chop.
Beatrice twists hard on Claudia's neck while counter-twisting on her shoulder. Claudia screams.
Ah!
Is that better?
Oh! Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Oh! Don't, you know, the old cartoons. I gotta go, but thanks, Beatrice.
Always glad to help.
Claudia exits the studio mumbling in extreme pain.
Oh my God, oh sweet Lord.
Claudia sits at a cubicle cubicle desk in front of a computer in the production offices. Her head is tilted upwards because of the spasms in her neck, which make it hard for her to look down at the screen as she types. Tom Birch approaches her, and he leans over the cubicle wall.
Hey, what's up?
What do you want?
Tom watches her as she types. He follows her twisted gaze up towards the ceiling.
You lose something?
I have a stiff neck, that's all.
Ah, and you had Beatrice take a look at it.
Why do you say that?
Nothing.
She happens to be very qualified.
Oh, I'm sure.
What do you want?
I was wondering if you could do floor direct Pets Are People 2 taping tomorrow. Lenny's he's home sick and I have to be in the booth.
Why should I?
You'll have my undying love and respect. And a bottle of ibuprofen.
Fine, just leave me alone.
Lydia Cooper approaches, Tootsie Pop in hand.
What are you doing at my computer?
Hey, I don't have one.
That's not my problem.
Because he took it.
Thank you.
I don't want strange people's greasy prints on my keyboard.
Well, just one more minute.
I don't know what kind of diseases you got. Shoot.
Claudia reluctantly leaves Lydia's computer and heads out to Denny's office. Denny sits at his desk. He has a small bottle of baby powder that he carefully squeezes down the front of his pants. His office is truly the shrine to the old Victorian design. His Victrola plays a scratchy old recording of U.B. Blake's Charleston Rag.
Denny, can we talk?
Surprise! Denny quickly opens the top dress drawer and deposits the bottle of baby powder. He buttons his pants, he looks up at her, and then follows her eyes to the ceiling.
Yeah, what's the scuttlebutt?
I really need that replacement computer, Denny. It's been over a week now.
Has it?
He reaches over to the mass of notes taped on the wall over his desk. About 3 layers in, he pulls out one of the notes.
Oh, sure, here it is. Yep, we'll get right on that.
Promise?
Radio.
Because I really, really need it.
Done and done.
Thank you, Denny.
She exits. He puts the note back into the layers of paper and tape on the wall. He looks back up at the ceiling, transfixed. Claudia sits at the break room table, nursing her sore neck. She chews carefully on a carrot she's taken from a small plastic bag in front of her. Each bite is agony. Behind her stand 2 chubby technicians. They speak in low, hushed tones.
You know what's the best? Take a jelly donut, suck out the filling, put in peanut butter cups, stick it in the microwave about 15 seconds, just till they get soft.
That sounds awesome.
It is.
I think they got jellies over my master control.
What are we waiting for?
They exit. From out of the break room cabinet emerges Tim Conway. He sits quietly next to Claudia.
Hello, Tim.
Hey, Claudia. What are we looking for?
Nothing. My neck is just... Forget it.
Rough day, huh?
Day, week, month.
When we were in production for the Burnett Show, Carol was having a terrible week. We were on overtime, 14, 15-hour days. I remember she had to rehearse the Copacabana number for 62 consecutive takes. She was exhausted. I thought she was going to collapse like a pile of dried twigs right there and then. But she said something to me, something so inspirational that I'll never forget it as long as I live.
What did he say? What did she say?
Who the fuck took my second all? Next motherfucker to steal from my dressing room, I will personally rip open their jaws and shit drunk sweat diarrhea down their miserable throats.
Thank you for that, Tim.
Anytime, sweetheart. Are you going to finish?
No, go ahead.
He scurries back into the cabinet with the carrots. As Beatrice enters the break room, she sits next to Claudia.
Oh, Claudia, I heard you weren't taking so well to my adjustment.
Oh, no, it's fine, really.
Sometimes when the body isn't ready, any small muscle manipulation can lead to a misalignment of the chakras.
Uh-huh.
The centers of our body that control energy flow.
Oh, no, yes, of course, right.
Beatrice holds up a strange, roughly knitted piece of garment made of a brown, coarse fabric with large knots throughout. It has buckles and other straps hanging from it.
This is a hemp pazutra.
Oh.
A chakra alignment harness. I made it myself, based on the ancient designs of the Ramdi Mahatra Numbi, a spiritual leader from Burma, which is now known as Myanmar.
So I strap this on?
And all of your energies become aligned.
Uh-huh.
It's made of hemp.
So if it doesn't work, I can just smoke it, right?
That is a harsh fallacy put forth by the oppressive corporate anti-hemp conspiracy.
No, it was a joke.
Hemp is a wonderful, versatile material that, if adopted by the closed-minded Western society, we can revolutionize our way of life and bring peace and economic stability to the world.
Oh, no doubt.
Just wear it for 24 hours and all your energies will be aligned. And do try to be more open-minded.
She exits.
No, I'm very open-minded. Oh, fuck it.
She looks at the harness, trying to figure out how it works. In the TV station, the camera weaves its way down the station hallway. We track past Stan Fritzl, who pulls more wiring and cables from electric wall panel. We pass two men who are doing Hillbilly Ethan, the act of rhythmically slapping your thighs and chanting and gulping in a weird southern drawl. We go past the break room where two chubby technicians are huddled by the active microwave. They wait hungrily. From out of the production office steps Claudia. Her posture looks strange. She seems a bit bent sideways, and she saunters down the hall. Tom Birch sidles up next to her.
Well, hey there, Gabby. When we going panning for gold?
Up yours.
Slip a disc?
I'm aligning my chakras.
Really?
Yes, my trampolinist muscles got all hinky with my onomatopoeia POTUS, so now I need to align my energy centers.
Yeah? God, she's really got you drinking the Kool-Aid.
What do you want?
I need you to get over the set design. Jimmy was supposed to have the animals set out by 4. Nothing's up, and we tape at 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow.
Got it.
Tell him that the show's theme is birds. Big birds. Big birds mean big seeds, mean big poops. We'll need extra floor plastic.
Poop sheets. Got it.
She strolls away from him. He stoops over, similar to her posture.
Sanctuary. Sanctuary.
Oh, that is so funny. Asshole.
Claudia enters the dark set design studio, still bent over. It is very dark. Standing at the far end of the studio is Jimmy Hankey. He is lit by dozens of candles sitting on chairs, wood blocks, and on the floor. He is shirtless and covered in paint. He wears 2 short shorts and sandals. He holds a brush in his hand as he stares at a tall, wide set piece that is spattered in paint.
Hello? Jimmy? Knock, knock.
Come on in.
Jimmy, we need to talk about getting the pet set up for tomorrow.
Claudia?
Jimmy?
Hey, can I talk to you for a second? You know, like girl chat?
Well, I really got to get over to the...
He pulls over a wood block for her to sit on.
Okay, this is going to seem a little personal, but I don't think I have anyone else to talk to. You know, I started working here 12 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Back then I was happy and young and energized and really, really gay.
Oh.
I mean, I love to gobble. Give comb. Do a brace job. Give some laps.
Sure, uh-huh.
Butt diddle. Punch the starfish. Do some red eye. Dance the chocolate cha-cha.
Yeah, now, about the set.
Then, about a year and a half ago, I got approached by Darla. You know, the lesbian over in engineering.
Oh, sure. Stocky flannel shirt, blonde goatee.
That's her, yeah. Well, anyway, I had known her and her partner Patrice for a while through our LGBTBC, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender bonsai club.
Uh-huh.
You know, little trees.
Bonsai, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, they wanted to have a baby, But they didn't want the whole impersonal process of sperm banks and fertility clinics. They wanted to do it naturally, so they asked me.
Wow.
Tell me about it. I mean, I was very flattered, and they're really great gals in love, stable home life, so I said yes.
Wow.
Now, Patrice volunteered to be fertilized. She's not like Darla at all. She's very lipstick, tight white dresses, Ava Gardner hair, curves in all the right places. So we arranged to meet up at the Pine View Motel to, plow the soil and plant the seed, as it were.
Right?
And I'm scared shitless, shaking like a leaf, because I didn't want to let them down, So I gulp a half bottle of Abergoots and 3 Valiums and get to it. And I really liked it.
Huh.
I mean, I'd never been with a woman before. Always guys. It was always lots of stubble and muscles and BO and sharp corners. But women are different. Soft and smooth, warm and moist, creamy, silky, succulent.
Okay, I think...
And the titties. Oh my God, the titties. I had no idea. These wonderful, firm, bouncing orbs. You just want to stick your face in and...
Yep, I own a pair myself. Really fun. Yeah.
So we do it like 12 times that afternoon. 9 months later, they have a little boy, Edgar.
Oh, well, that's so sweet.
And after all is said and done, I look at myself in the mirror, and I only know one thing. I really love pussy.
His back is to the camera, but it is clear from Claudia's reaction that he has an erection, about eye level with her as she sits. She sees it and stands.
Whoa, okay, Jimmy, you need to put that away.
Sorry, Claudia. It's just that I'm so scared.
Scared of what?
Getting fired.
What are you talking about?
Look, 12 years ago, this station hired a gay set designer. In good faith. And I delivered. Now, I don't know who they were hiring to fill a quota, but I'm not that same gay designer anymore. If they found about my new lifestyle, they could cut me loose.
That's ridiculous, Jimmy. No matter why they hired you, what they got was a damn good designer.
Really?
Well, yes. Hell, nobody spatters the teal and magenta like you do. The wooden blocks, the spheres, the cones with the black and white cow patterns. I mean, you're the Michelangelo of set people. They'd be crazy to let you go. Gay, straight, whatever.
You think so?
All I know is despite what the 24-hour news channels want us to believe, the world isn't black and white. There are tens of millions of gray tones in between. None of them wrong. And each of us falls somewhere in those zones. And we have the right, no matter what anyone believes, to change, to evolve, to move along like the scale when it suits us, just like you did.
Oh, I wish I could believe that, but I can't risk it.
So you're going to hide in the closet pretending to be somebody you're not just to protect your job? Can you really live like that?
I'm going to have to.
Well, Jimmy, I hope someday soon we'll live in a world where you won't have to.
Maybe. Someday.
She hugs him, pulls away, and looks down at his crotch.
You really need to do something about that.
She exits. The next day, a beauty shot looking up at the TV station building. Inside, there is a waste can hammering at the reception area door. The buzzer blasts and Claudia enters, setting down the waste can as she does. She's really bent over now and walking in severe discomfort. She smiles weakly at the receptionist.
Good morning. Good morning.
Maurice Coombs approaches, heading for his office.
Well, good morning, Claire. How are you?
It's Claude.
Why don't you limp on in here? I'd like a word.
She painfully limps into his office. He sits behind his desk as Claudia slides into the chair opposite.
So, how are things going? You ready for the Pets Are People show this morning?
Oh, yes, right on schedule. I mean, we had a few snags with the set, but Jimmy's on it.
You look a little worse for wear. Can I get you something? Aspirin? Heating pad?
No, fine.
How about a cane?
I'm sorry?
He goes to a cabinet behind the desk and opens it. It is filled with dozens of old ornate canes of every shape and size.
A cane? I have a small collection here. It might help you get around a little easier.
Why do you have so many?
I do RPGs on the weekends. Dark On, Battle for the Lake, Windswept Castle. I'm usually a wizard or a seer. The canes help me get into character.
Yeah, it might help at that.
He takes a cane from the stack and holds it. It is dark, gnarled wood with a crystal orb fastened to the top.
This one's my favorite. From the tomb of the enchantress.
He hands it to her. She takes it, but he holds on.
But be very careful with it.
He pulls her closer, up and out of the chair.
It's magic.
He lets go and she heads for the door, leaning on the cane.
Oh, and Claire, let's just keep Jimmy's sexual predilections between us, shall we?
Wait, how did you know?
The shadow of my sword, my dear. The shadow of my sword.
He looks at her eerily. She turns and limps out the door. Claudia heads down the hall to the studio doors. Standing near the doors is Tom, along with Judd Mickelberg, the host of Pets Are People Too. He's a tall, clumsy fellow wearing a khaki bush jacket, shorts, knee socks, and an Australian bush hat. Next to Judd stands Dr. Imelda Potts, bird expert. She wears a white lab coat and glasses. Behind them are a bevy of large wild birds, a turkey, a pelican, an albatross, a stork, an egret, a bevy of parrots, a pink flamingo, and 2 emus.
Hey, Bilbo, how are things in the Shire?
Oh, will you stuff it? Hi, Judd.
Hey, Claudia, this is Dr. Potts. She's our bird expert.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, thanks, nice.
Is everything set in studio? We gotta get these critters in.
Yep, all looks good. Just let me make a coffee run and I'll meet you in there.
She limps away. In the hallway, she's approached by Beatrice, who holds a small perfume bottle. You know, the old kind with the spray bulb?
Claudia, I'm so glad I found you.
Beatrice.
I realize the harness I gave you won't do any good unless you supplement it with this.
She hands Claudia the bottle.
Perfume?
It's Jiao Shu, an ancient Eastern herbal remedy that opens up your energy fields. When you go home tonight, before you go to bed, turn out your lights, spray this on your forehead, and rest easy. In the morning, you'll be good as new.
Yeah, I don't
Claudia,
think...
open mind, remember.
Right. Thanks.
Sorry. Beatrice... Sorry. Kills me. Beatrice heads off. Claudia looks at the bottle, shrugs, then limps into the women's restroom. There's a pause. Then... Tom and Judd come running down the hall and rush into the restroom. Claudia's on the floor in agony.
My face!
Jesus, what happened?
We hear Lydia's voice from one of the stalls.
Who the hell's in here? This is the ladies' rooms, goddammit.
Beatrice enters.
Claudia!
I sprayed like you said! It burns, God, it burns!
I am trying to pinch a loaf. I do not need an audience.
This solution is derived from the poison parsnip plant.
You poisoned me?
It has healing qualities, but it also has caustic properties that are light activated. That's why I said spray it on at night with the lights out.
Well, what should we do?
Find something to cover her face.
Judd rushes out. Claudia's lips are swelling dramatically.
I blew like... Man. I do indeed, sir. Hey, did they wrangle all the birds from the chute?
Yeah. It took about an hour, though. Those flamingos are tough. Tell you the truth, we still can't find the pelican. But it's gotta turn up, right? Where's the pelican gonna hide?
In the vast storage room in the far corner sits Tim Conway with the pelican. It squawks as he feeds it pieces of canned sardines.
I think I'll name you Harvey.
The bird squawks again. Cut to black. End of episode 3. Tonight's reading is brought to you by our sponsors Bob and J-Star, 5 Nines, Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue, Brenner Brewing Company, and ComedySportz. You know, so little is known about the improv comedian. No one sees them as they study, home, alone, racking their brains till all hours of the night. Like spelling bee competitors, they memorize every comedy possibility for any suggestion that an audience might throw out. From sumo wrestling to Millard Fillmore to rodeo sex. These OCD funny people store these scenarios in their computer-like brains, ready to call them up at a moment's notice. And all the while, making it look like they just made it up on the spot to fool the unsuspecting public. And nowhere is the craft of improv honed to a masterful degree than at ComedySportz. Great for audiences of all ages, ComedySportz offers fun and hilarity for regular nights out, group endeavors, or corporate get-togethers. ComedySportz, the idiot savants of the comedy world, with emphasis on the idiot. And by Bob and J Star. Tonight's technical support and live streaming is brought to you by Bob and J Star. You need it? They know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. No questions. Bob and J Star, kiss the goat. All right, episode 4, The Mission. The Mission. Fade in. TV monitor. On screen, we see Shirley Wozniak, host of Milwaukee Public TV's Sewing with Shirley. She's a twitchy, nervous woman in her early 60s. She wears a short bob of gray blonde hair, a two-piece seafoam green polyester leisure suit, and reading glasses with a bejeweled lanyard around her neck. She speaks to the camera as she stands beside a table full of different fabric.
Now, no matter which fabric you choose for your quilt, tape backing is essential. Make sure it's facing down and smooth out so there are no folds. Do not make the mistake of stretching your backing too tight. This will cause the fabric to contract and it will release the tape and give you a poor result. Yeah, now, right. Oh, now I already have a sample set up, okay, for you on the machine. We've placed the batting over our backing fabric, then placed our quilt top right side up, facing over the batting.
She sits and prepares the sewing machine. In the TV studio booth are director Jack Aronson, his young assistant, and Claudia Wynn. Jack nervously pops antacids as he directs. The assistant hits the switcher on command. Claudia sits nearby taking notes. Jack and the assistants have microphones in front of them. Claudia wears a headset.
And cut to close up on camera 2.
Cutting a close-up, camera 2.
We see Shirley's hands on the monitor arranging the fabric. Her hands look like Frankenstein's monster, full of sewing machine scars and needle holes. Some are quite fresh and bleed a bit. Her fingertips are an array of bandages. Tom Birch is the floor director. He stands next to camera 2, wearing a headset and holding a clipboard. He stares at Shirley's hands nervously.
Think she'll do it again?
She's done it 5 times already. She can't do it again.
She wouldn't do it again. Would she do it again?
She could do it again.
We see the chubby camera operator number 2 with greasy hair, glasses, and donut crumbs on his mouth operating the camera.
Oh, she'll do it again.
Quiet on set, please.
Everyone quiet on the set, please.
She can't do it again.
And here we go.
Shirley puts the machine in gear and starts to slowly sew the fabric. We close-up tracking shot into Tom's face. Close-up tracking shot into Jack's face. Close-up tracking shot into the assistant's face. Close-up tracking shot into Claudia's face. Shirley keeps sewing. Suddenly she twitches and the machine goes into high gear. Her fingers get pulled into the machine.
Ah, sweet, miraculous Jesus in heaven.
She did it again. She did it again.
I told you she'd do it again.
Okay, cut. Let's take 15, everyone.
Shirley pulls her fingers out of the machine. Multicolored strands of thread dangle from the tips of her fingers. Tom goes to her.
Oh, Tom, I'm so sorry. I'll do it right next time, I'm sure of it.
Of course you will, Shirley, but let's take a break, okay? Get yourself cleaned up and get some of those loose strands out of there. Why don't you come back in 15?
All righty, I'll be in my dressing room if you need me.
She points, the strands of thread flailing in all directions. Claudia takes off her headset and heads out the door.
See you in 15, guys. Anyone need anything?
Valium.
We'll get some Valium?
No, don't.
We're fine, thanks.
Claudia heads out the door. She makes her way down a long, narrow stairway, and another fat technician is making his way up the handicapped lip chair. She squeezes by him and onto the main floor. Claudia weaves her way down the hall, past a man holding an exotic badger, through a group of technicians huddled around the donut and coffee table, and past a clown with a bright red nose, rainbow afro, and paint-stained coveralls. She heads into the production office. She tiptoes into the cubicle-filled production offices. She notices an empty cubicle. She sits and starts typing into the computer in front of her. We hear Lydia Cooper's voice off camera.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have to log this.
Lydia pulls Claudia's chair back from the desk.
No. I told you, keep your greasy fingers away from my desk.
Please, oh please, just 5 minutes.
Shut up. Get up. Come with me.
Lydia takes Claudia by the arm and walks her out of the office. Lydia and Claudia walk down the hall into the copying room. Standing at the copy machine is the deep-browed man. He has a blank stare as he makes hundreds of copies on the machine. Lydia looks at him sternly.
Hey, Unibomber, want to copy your manifesto someplace else?
The deep-browed man gathers up stacks of copies he's made and hustles out of the room. Lydia shuts the door behind him. Suddenly her demeanor softens. She speaks calmly to Claudia.
So they're not getting you a replacement computer, is that right?
Yes, right.
Oh, man. And you had Denny requisition one?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
God, the wheels in this place do turn slowly. Well, let's see what we can do. There's got to be a way around this. You can't do your...
Oh, no. I'm afraid not. Not these.
Why not?
Well, I have 6.
Uh-huh.
And if I gave you one, that would leave me with only 5.
Uh-huh.
Well, 5 is less than 6. And I need 6 in my inventory for emergencies.
What kind of laptop emergencies you think you're going to have? Jeff Goldblum and Fresh Prince going to blow up in an alien spaceship?
No. It's just, see, end of next month, we're getting another shipment of 6. That would give me 12. If you get one, then I'd be left with 11, which is better than 5, but not quite 12. 12 pipers, piping, Skyping, typing, monkeys typing, knifeful.
So she needs to wait a month so you can have 12 minus 1, which is better than 6 minus 1 now. Even though if you gave her the 6 minus 1 now, then when you get the 6 next month, it would make the 11 you were willing to have then, rather than the 5 you would have now.
Exactly.
That's messed up.
Sorry, that's all I can do.
Lydia slowly nears Stan till she is nose to nose with him.
We'll be back.
Claudia and Lydia exit the office and stand in front of the reception area.
So what do we do now? You open up a can of whoop-ass or something?
No, girl. I'm afraid even the Ethno King-sized can of whoop-ass won't pry the techno gadgets out of that geek's ass.
So what do we do?
We're going to get your new laptop from that office tonight. Meet me here at the front desk at 9 o'clock.
Tonight? But why? I don't understand.
Just do it tonight, 9 o'clock, the front entrance. Got it?
Got it, yes.
And wear black.
Lydia hurries away. Over Claudia's shoulder, we see a well-dressed, middle-aged woman banging violently on the door with the trash can. The buzzer sounds, the door swings open. Entering through the door is Delmont McCleary, the head of the PTV Pals, the fundraising arm of the station. He is tall, in his late 50s, with a thick head of dark hair, gray at the temples. He has a deep tan and wears a very expensive 3-piece suit, complete with gold watch chain. He sports a gold Rolex on his wrist and a diamond pinky ring on his left hand. He has the bearing of a man who has the world by the balls. He is followed by a mindless bevy of what Tom Wolfe referred to in The Bonfire of the Vanities as social X-rays. Upper-class women of means, all wearing elegant designer dresses and fine jewelry. Their hair is perfectly coiffed, their skin is pulled tight on their faces from too much sun, exercise, and plastic surgery. They follow after Delmont like a loyal herd of chickens. Delmont stops when he spies Claudia in the lobby.
Well, hello there. You must be the new producer I've heard so much about. I'm Delmont McCleary.
Yes, Claudia Wynn, nice to meet you.
Delmont reaches out and pulls her to him in a warm embrace.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Delmont doesn't release her. He just emits a strange series of warm, comforting moans. Still in his embrace, Claudia pats him on the back, trying to break free.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Well, I do hope you'll be attending the staff meeting in 20 minutes. Love to see that beautiful smile again.
Wouldn't miss it.
Good. Good. See you then.
He heads off as the chicken ladies leer at her and cluck their tongues. They follow him. Claudia shivers a bit.
Oh, I need a shower.
The camera is mounted on a coffee donut cart as it wheels its way through the halls of the station. It is stacked with crullers, jelly-filled, cream-filled, and plain. It makes its way to a large conference room. It is filled with people. We see the ravenous hands of the technicians and engineers grab the donuts from the cart till it's nothing but crumbs. The conference room is filled with the TV staff, every from Dom Little to Tom Birch, Lydia Cooper, Jack's assistant, Bob Beamer, pet show host Judd Mickelberg, sewing host Shirley Wozniak, still with the frayed thread hanging from her fingertips, the camera crew, sound crew, and technicians, and a host of others packed to the gills. Everyone sits around a group of tables arranged into a large oval. At the head of the oval sits Maurice Coombs, Delmont McCleary, and Delmont's contingent of wealthy clucking chicken ladies. Claudia enters last. She squeezes her way to the coffee cart and attempts to pour a cup. Empty. The donuts are gone. She takes a lone, odd, greenish-brown piece of coffee cake from the cart and sits. Maurice stands. He carries one of his ornate canes that has a dragon's head carved on the top.
All right, everyone, I think we can get started here. Now, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I don't need to tell you all that it's that time of year again. Fall pledge is coming up right around the corner. It's a big year for us. We've raised our pledge goals, and we're expecting big things from our contributors this year. And I'd like to introduce, as if you don't know him already, Delmont McCleary, head of the PTV Pals fundraising group. Delmont?
Delmont stands as the group applauds. The applause dies down except for the group of chicken ladies who continue to clap loudly. Delmont looks at them with awe and chicken lust.
Thank you. Well, as Maurice stated so elegantly, we are on the fast track this year to try and raise a record pledge goal. It's going to take an awful lot of effort from the entire staff, but I think we can do it. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I did some negotiating and string pulling with the folks at the national broadcast offices, and I think I can safely say that I put together a dynamic secret weapon that will help us not only meet our new goals, but surpass them. Lights, please.
The lights dim. Delmont sits. A video is projected on the screen hanging from a wall behind Delmont. We fade up from black to see a huge old country estate. The camera slowly tracks in as symphonic music plays. A British announcer's voice is heard in voiceover.
Last season.
Spacious garden patio of the estate sit Lord Bitterman and a very old and wrinkled Dame Lady Beatrice. She's dressed in an ornate black 1920s dress with a frilly hat and veil. They sip tea as they look out over the vast estate.
This family has endured the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. From war and pestilence to abundance and great wealth. And through it all, one thing has stood steadfast.
And what is that, Mother?
There have always been, and will always be, Bittermans.
Good Lord.
The family is seated around a huge, long dining table filled with succulent dishes of duck, steak, loin, salad, etc. Lord Bitterman, tuxedo-clad, stands as he clinks his spoon on the side of his champagne glass.
May I have your attention, please, everyone? I'm afraid I have some frightfully bad news.
We cut to various faces of the pensive but well-dressed members of this wealthy British family.
As of noon today, this family is down to its last £25 million.
Father, we're not.
Yes. I'm afraid we're destitute.
Damn it! Derek pokes his head through the dining room window.
What? The Bitterman legacy has ended.
Good Lord!
The wide shot of the British estate, the voiceover is heard again.
And now, the exciting new season of The Bittermans of Buckingham.
The music swells, and video out. The lights come up, the room applauds, Delmont stands.
That's right, folks. In conjunction with our fall pledge, we will be premiering the new season of The Bittermans of Buckingham 2 days earlier than the national schedule. Of course, that will mean an alteration in the way we present our pledge breaks for the show. Nadine, if you will.
Nadine, one of the chicken ladies, gets up and holds out a stack of printed materials. She starts handing them out.
Thank you, Delmont. I have here a handout that I'll hand out. It outlines our approach to this. It hands out our approach to this year's pledge drive that will have a Bittermans of Buckingham's theme.
Ramona, another nervous chicken lady, speaks up.
It's a high-res 4-color print.
Eunice, still another of the ladies, chirps in.
On a glossy stock.
The handouts get passed around. Claudia gets one. She examines it. On the cover is Delmont. He wears a 3-piece wool suit with elbow patches. He also sports a monocle and a Sherlock Holmes deerstalker hat. He clenches a meerschaum pipe in his teeth, and he grins at the camera. The title on the headline reads, By Jove, it's pledge time.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
Claudia opens the handout. Inside are other pictures of Delmont in British garb, as a London cab driver, as a bobby, as a British judge with a long curly white wig. For some reason, there's also a picture of Delmont in a swimsuit and holding a surfboard.
Now, normally I would address the viewers with something like, Hello, I'm Delmont McCleary of the PTV Pals. If you like the shows you're currently watching, won't you please call in and give a pledge? Our programming depends on your support. So give, won't you? But with this new Bittermans of Buckingham theme, I could say something like, Hello, Governor! If you've been liking this year programming, won't you pick up a wireless and pledge a pence? With a little bit of luck, we can teabag your uncle and keep bringing you great shows on the custard and jelly.
Oh, just wonderful.
You know, something like that. But it means we're going to have to rework the set with a British theme.
I could repaint the old Reading Wrangler set, add some faux brick, fake fireplace, some old books.
Wonderful.
We could bring in tea services for the phone bank volunteers. Maybe get some Britishy clothes for them in a costume room.
Fabulous. This will be great.
Yes, Claire?
Claudia, I don't mean to be a fly in the ointment here, but I have another suggestion.
The room grows silent as the chicken ladies turn a suspicious eye at Claudia. They make low, disapproving clucks under their breath.
First of all, wow, what a coup. The Bittermans. Great job, Mr. McCleary. I mean, who doesn't love a good corset? And the character stuff you're doing is fabulous. I'm not sure about teabagging your uncle, but I just realized that this year will be the 60th anniversary of the station.
Uh-huh.
Well, look at our viewership. What demographic not only is our largest block of viewers, but also pledges the most amount of money during our pledge drives? Women between the ages of 45 and 70. See, most of these people were our original audience back in 1956. They grew up with WMGT and all the programs throughout the years. Here.
She takes a stack of papers and passes them out.
I put together a list of all the old shows dating back from 1956 to around 1984.
These are black and white.
On playing stock.
This is a list of all the old shows dating back to 1956.
Hey, Captain Stubby's Playboat. I love that show.
Mr. Boom, the Science Man.
The Wackadoo Kids, Howlin' Henry Gherkin.
Oh boy, the Dizzy Dwarf Dancers? That brings back some memories.
So we can do a nostalgia-themed pledge. I know airing the Bittermans of Buckingham costs the station quite a bit of money. And, well, we've got a whole tape library of all these old shows just sitting there, free. We can air the old shows during the week and then bring out some of the original hosts and characters live on set to help us out with the pledge drive. Now, I'm sure a lot of these old folks are still alive and would love to get back in front of the cameras one more time. And if this list brings out this kind of nostalgia in us, I mean, think of what that would do to our viewership. To see all these old shows again. To see some of their favorite characters from their childhood.
The room is silent as everyone mulls this. The chicken ladies cluck and turn their heads nervously at one another. Delbert looks sullen and a tad angry. He cracks a smile to hide his anger.
Well, this is a very cute idea. We do, however, have a built-in audience for the Bittermans of Buckingham, and I just think that this premiere...
I like it.
Excuse me?
It's a good idea. Fresh, intuitive, hits the mark. Of course, it's in the early stages. I say we do some research, Claire. Find out about these old hosts and show characters. See how many are still around. How many are willing to come on the air.
Claudia, will do.
Maurice.
The Bittermans is still a go, Delmont. Don't worry. You'll be able to do your chimney sweep impersonation, but I still think adding on the nostalgia idea will just help us to the goal faster, at very little cost to the station.
I see.
Let's meet back here 1 week from today and see what we come up with.
The room adjourns. People approach Claudia as they leave.
Nice job, Claudia. The dizzy dwarf dancers. Can't wait to see it.
Thanks.
The room empties. Claudia is approached by a sullen Delmont and his brood of unhappy chicken ladies. Delmont tries to smile as he shakes her hand.
Well, very nice work, Miss Wynne.
Thanks.
But before we go ahead with your idea, I think there is one thing you should know. I am this station. I raise the money that keeps us on the air, and I'm the one who decides what goes over the airwaves and what doesn't. So before you get too full of yourself, keep that in mind.
Are you trying to hurt my hand? Because it's really not doing anything. It just feels weird. Like Jell-O, you know.
Delmont storms off with a sullen group of chicken ladies staring daggers at her as they cluck away.
Oy.
The TV station later that night. Lydia Cooper waits in the front reception area. She wears black pants, a black turtleneck, and a black knit hat. She hears a faint banging against the security door. She reaches over the empty receptionist's desk and hits the buzzer. The door opens. Claudia enters. She's wearing a tight little black dress, black high heels, and a string of pearls around her neck. Her hair is up in an elegant bun.
What? I told you to wear black.
I did. I love this little thing. It fits in anywhere.
Moron, we're trying to pull a heist, not throw a cotillion.
A heist?
You are prime time stupid. You know that? Come on.
Lydia leads Claudia through the darkened hallway to the back storage room. Claudia slips a bit.
Ah, damn, hold it. Oh, I broke a heel.
She takes off her shoe and walks awkwardly. She smiles and breaks into a Katharine Hepburn impersonation.
I was born on the side of a hill. Sorry. Katharine Hepburn.
Bringing up baby. I know.
They head to the storeroom. Lydia takes off her hat and puts it tight on Claudia's head. She takes out a tin of black makeup and begins smearing it on Claudia's face.
What is that?
Makeup. What do you think?
Wait, is this even politically correct?
Do you give a shit?
Not really, no.
Lydia finishes and picks up some gear on the floor. A waist harness, some climbing ropes, carbiners, pulleys, and a stepladder. She hands Claudia the harness.
Put this on. Around your waist.
Whoa, where did you get all this cool stuff?
My husband's a spelunker.
Really? Wow.
What?
Nothing. It's just... I mean, I didn't know black people spelunked.
Who said my husband was black?
Oh, I'm sorry. He isn't?
No, he is. He just likes climbing in dark, damp places, that's all.
Good thing for you, huh?
The fuck does that mean?
Nothing. Let's go.
Lydia leads Claudia to the hallway outside of Stan's office. She sets up the ladder in the middle of the hall, climbs it, and pushes a ceiling tile out of the way. She climbs up into the ceiling area above the tiles. She turns and pokes her head out, looking down.
All right, James Bond, let's hit it.
Claudia climbs the ladder and up into the area above the tiles. Claudia and Lydia crawl their way in the ceiling crawl space towards Stan's office.
Dark, damn places. That's actually kind of funny. Right?
Lydia points at her crotch.
Because, you know, I've got a...
Yeah, right, that's why I said it.
They stop crawling.
Okay, we should be above Pencil Neck's office.
Lydia slides away a ceiling tile to reveal the electronic storehouse that is indeed Stan's office.
Bingo.
Lydia starts attaching ropes to Claudia's harness. They whisper.
Okay, I'll get this secured to these water pipes and lower you down. But be careful. They've got the whole room set up with motion laser sensors.
Get the fuck out.
I'm not lying. You know what kind of budget he has for all this electronic doodads? I hate to see what sort of sexual self-stimulation devices he's got in that desk.
The mind races.
Okay, here we go. Just move slowly.
Lydia starts to lower her into the room slowly. Of course, very much like Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible, I really didn't have to say that, did I?
Almost there.
Okay.
The rope suddenly jerks and Claudia falls inches from the floor. She hangs helplessly as the room fills with rays of red laser lights.
Oh shit, the lasers! Lydia, the lasers!
She twists her body to look up. Lydia's gone. We can hear Lydia crawling through the crawl space, climbing down the ladder, and running down the hall.
Lydia! Lydia! You're going for help, right? Right? Oh my god, my sinuses are filling up.
There's no answer. She looks up again and sees Tim Conway peering down at her. He smiles and waves.
Tim, you have to help me out of here. I was going for a laptop, and I know I shouldn't have, but...
Tim replaces the ceiling tile, and we hear him crawling away.
Oh, perfect.
Claudia hangs, twisted, contorted, in the laser-filled room. The next morning, there's a close-up on a pool of clear liquid on the floor. We follow a string of the liquid up to Claudia's snoring mouth. She's drooling in her sleep. Suddenly, there's a clunking noise, and the lasers go out. The door opens, and in walks Stan, whistling, "Keep Your Eye on the Sparrow," the theme from Beretta. He goes up to his desk, takes off his jacket, hangs it on a wall hook, and puts his lunchbox in his desk, all without ever noticing Claudia. He picks up a clipboard and exits the room. The door slams behind him. The slamming door wakes Claudia with a start. She writhes in pain. Later, Claudia limps down the hallway in her black dress, waist harness, broken shoe, knit hat, and blackface. She goes to her desk and slumps in the chair. She takes off the knit hat. Her hair sticks out in a tangled mess like a bird's nest. Stan Fritzl walks by and sets a box with a new laptop in it on her desk.
One laptop computer as per your request.
He walks away. She stares at the box a moment, then looks up. Tom and Lydia are in the doorway, grinning. They fist bump one another and exit.
I will make them suffer.
Maurice
Graham?
strides up to Claudia's desk, cane in hand.
I've made an executive decision. We're going full on with your nostalgia idea for Pledge. You'll be working closely with Delmont and his team for the next 3 weeks. Good job. Tally ho.
He exits. She looks out through the doorway and sees Delmont and the chicken ladies standing in the hall. They are seething. They glower at Claudia as they walk away.
How very wonderful.
There is a pause as she stares at the laptop box.
It's Claudia.
Cut to black. End of episode 4. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'd like to remind you that we have comment cards out in the hallway, and if you could fill out a comment card and let us know what you think of the show and put it in the box. But we've got to introduce this marvelous cast. First of all, as our Claudia, Megan Kaminsky, the very talented and lovely Jim Fletcher, the overly talented and beautiful Doug Jarecki. I got to get out my thesaurus. The terrifically talented Robert W.C. Kennedy. The horrendously talented Raven Monique Dockery. The uber wonderfully talented Tim Higgins. The overtly talented Ken T. Williams. The I can't believe how much he's talented Bo Johnson. My wonderfully talented friend Shelby Kissling. The man who does the most wonderful Mr. Haney impersonation, Drew Braille. the scarily talented Jim Pickering, and the twitchingly talented Tammy Workingen. Thank you so much. I'm Anthony Wood. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please go out into the bar, enjoy yourself, have refreshments. That is it, as we say.
Alo? Salut! Sunt eu, Haiduc. Și te rog, iubirea mea, primește fericirea. Alo? Alo? Sunt eu, Picasso, ți-am dat bip. Și sunt voinic, dar să știi, nu-ți cer nimic. Vrei să pleci, dar numai ei. Numai ei. Numai ei. Chipul tău și dragostea din tei. Mi-amintesc de ochii tăi ei. Vrei să pleci, dar numai ei. Numai ei. Numai ei. Chipul tău și dragostea din tei. Mi-amintesc de ochii tăi ei. Te sun să-ți spun ce simt acum. Alo? Iubirea mea, sunt eu, fericirea. Alo? Alo? Sunt iarăși eu, Picasso, ți-am dat bip. Și sunt voinic, dar să știi, nu-ți cer nimic. Vrei să pleci, dar numai ei. Numai